All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to day two of our sixth virtual international conference. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's sessions as they were incredibly insightful, and today we are set to explore even more significant topics. I'm Sneha Bhardwaj, counseling psychologist and HR at Speakingcube. Welcome you all. Also, happy second day of Navratri, and for those who are celebrating Eid today, Eid Mubarak. So, it's wonderful to see you all joining from different locations. Even though we are meeting virtually, our discussions and learnings are going to be just as real and impactful. So, let's begin with our first speaker. I invite Mrs. Shikha Chamoli Sinha. She is an analytic engineer and data engineer with experience at Meta and the University of California, Berkeley. She will be talking about mental health and social media. In today's world, social media is no longer just a tool, it has become a habit. But does it impact our mental health positively or negatively? So let's hear her insights. Chika ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Sneha. So I would like to thank everyone at Speakingcube, Dr. Deepika Chamoli, and all who are and part of this community for inviting me for this talk. Thank you so much. And as Neha has already introduced me, I would like to introduce myself just briefly. I'm Shikha. I'm a computer science graduate. I worked with some esteemed companies, Meta, IBM, as analytic engineer, computer science engineer. And today I will be sharing my thoughts and my own opinions and observations about social media and its usage in today's world, along with AI. So please give me a moment. I'll just start sharing my screen. Please let me know if you all can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, we can.
All right, thank you. All right, so today's topic that I'm presenting is on mental health and social media in this age of AI. Okay, so we have heard very nice presentations and talks yesterday in this conference about AI. So what is AI? AI has many facets. AI enables machines to think and act like humans. So AI, artificial intelligence, it has many branches, machine learning and artificial intelligence. They all like work together, natural language processing. And these days there are a lot of tools like ChatGPT, which is generative AI that we are increasingly using in our day-to-day professional life, sometimes in personal life as well. We are using it. And social media has become an inherent part of everybody's personal life these days. We all use WhatsApp, we all use Facebook. Most of us, we use Instagram or TikTok, these kind of platforms. Okay, so we will be touching base on topics like how AI is impacting our day-to-day lives. What are the benefits of AI and what are the pitfalls, and how to avoid the pitfalls, and how to make AI our best training tool, best assistant to progress in life. Okay, so we all have heard about artificial intelligence as a subject, and there's a lot of talk about it, this AI revolution that is going on. Who is the father of AI, and what was his vision when he started his work in artificial intelligence? So Geoffrey Hinton, here's the picture of Geoffrey Hinton. So Geoffrey Hinton has also worked with esteemed big tech giants and have contributed a lot in the field of AI. He laid the very foundations and has worked through his way, creating what we see AI today. So he has developed neural networks. So his vision was, as we know that AI, what is AI? Artificial intelligence. So they are trying to mimic how our brain functions, but digitally. and how we can leverage it for our own use, for our own progress. So what his early beliefs were: AI would assist humans and not replace them. It will be used as a training tool, or to better ourselves, to increase productivity in day-to-day work, in professional lives, in personal lives, etc. Okay, and he also thought that AI would take decades to surpass human intelligence, which, in his own words, he thinks that it will reach a level that we did not estimate earlier, sooner than we thought. Okay, now social media. What is social media? We all are familiar with social media. We increasingly use it in today's world. So all the online platforms, we can interact with our colleagues, with our friends, with our family members, like WhatsApp, like Facebook, like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional networking website. These are all part of social medias: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. So most of us are using all these platforms. And these AI-driven algorithms determine content visibility and engagement. So there are a lot of benefits to it. There are a lot of pitfalls. And we will discuss more about it in the coming slides. Okay, digital habits and mental health. So there are some statistics that I will be presenting. Okay, so do you know how much an average person spends on social media every day? So statistically speaking, on an average, everybody present here is spending at least 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours daily on social media. 40% of the adults check social media before getting out of the bed. So as soon as we are awake, first thing, most of us, first thing that we are using is our phone. Excessive screen time likely to increase anxiety, stress, and depression, which we are seeing that it is statistically increasing day by day all across the globe. Sleep quality drops by 30% with social media overuse at night. So that blue light effect, like we are constantly exposed to the blue light and till late in the night. So that is also one of the side effects of social media, of using social media and digital media. Now, impact of social media on our perception and behavior. So there is more statistics for us. Misinformation spreads 6 times faster than facts, shaping opinions. So this is something that could be alarming in several scenarios, like if there are political opinions, if there are opinions about some brand, if there are opinions about an individual, reputation of a company, reputation of an individual, a family. So these are the things that can add to our anxiety and depression and overall mental health. Now, 60% of the users feel pressure to present a perfect life online. There's a lot of peer pressure, like, somebody's taking a vacation in Maldives, in Thailand, or maybe in other country. So we tend to compare ourselves, like, what are we doing? We try to self-analyze our achievements, our accomplishments, and not in a healthy way sometimes. So that is something to think about. Another one is 42% of teens experience body image issues due to social media. There's a lot of cyberbullying happening these days, and teenagers are constantly exposed. Teenagers are, I think, the demography that is mostly under pressure of, like, I have to be this perfect self, and that is constantly becoming unachievable. So that is something to think about. Dopamine. Now there is dopamine hit. Dopamine driven feedback loops keeps users addicted to scrolling. So when we say scrolling, those are Instagram Reels for you, Facebook Reels for you, and YouTube Shorts. So these kind of the things. And the same thing is getting replicated in TikTok platforms. Like now the LinkedIn is also showing Reels in the professional setting. Now, constructive and not so constructive uses of social media. So what do you think the constructive uses of social media are? Okay, so the constructive uses of social media: learning, networking, professional growth, mental health, advocacy. So we can discuss, we can have a dialogue with the experts in different fields. So that's the greatness of social media and these digital platforms. We can connect with experts in any field, right? We can have an open dialogue in public using the digital media. So that's also the constructive and bright side of social media and digital medias. Now, not so constructive side: doom scrolling. Doom scrolling is like, we are spending a lot of time scrolling through the Facebook reels, scrolling through the Instagram reels. Sometimes they could seem like, we are actually consuming very important information. Like, I'm a parent, so I sometimes go start exploring the reels about parenting, good parenting strategies. Your child is throwing a tantrum, how to handle this. Excuse me. Sorry about the interruptions. Yeah, are you able to see my screen again? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, so not so constructive effects of social media. Doom scrolling through the reels. Sometimes, an hour passed by and I'm still scrolling through the important information that I actually thought is important to me, and I might gain something. Sometimes I gain the valuable information from there as well. So that's also the positive side, but then you're losing out on your valuable time. Then misinformation: how to validate whatever we are consuming as information through those reels and expert advice is actually the truth. Validation is very important, right? Now, addiction. It's easily transforming, it is easily converting into an addiction these days, endless scrolling through your reels. And cyberbullying, which is increasingly becoming a big issue worldwide, especially in our children. Now, what do experts have to say about AI advancements these days? So Elon Musk, who is a founder, CEO of X, not founder, but current CEO of X, founder of SpaceX. Elon Musk says AI will be smarter than humans sooner than we think, and which it is showing us. Bill Gates, founder and CEO of Microsoft: AI is as revolutionary as the internet itself, which we see with the advent of ChatGPT, generative AIs, prompt engineering, etc. Concerns. Now, there are concerns surrounding AI, and with the pace that it is advancing, AI could be used for misinformation, manipulation in different fields: politics, economics, financial fields, and many other socio-geopolitical situations as well. The risk of AI acting autonomously without human control, that remains one of the biggest concerns, and the policies are being made for putting a check and putting it in control. So there is the positive side of it, that something is happening. Now, how AI is changing social and digital media for all of us, for everyone. In kids, AI-driven learning applications and content, which are most of the times targeted, right? The recommender systems, AI-powered recommender systems, are very strong. They know how to let the kids hooked on special type of contents. They are watching. If there's toddler in your house, you must have seen the toddler, constantly craving some sorts of YouTube channels and those kind of Facebook reels. And they also have games. If you have older children, youth in your house, you must have seen that they are playing games, video games, which YouTube also features. Small games, they are very quick. You do not need to install. You can directly play on YouTube. And they are very addictive. They are short and they give instant gratification, like you pass level 1 challenge and there is a celebration going on the screen, graffiti and everything, which they know. They are using the colors, they are using the themes or patterns which are known to keep kids hooked online, which is kind of dangerous because that is creating a lot of chaos in their small brains, right? Their developing brains. So we have to proceed with caution there. Now, teens, social validation loops, that social validation loops, body image issues, etc., exposure to trends. There is every sort of trend going on these days, that the kids are following, teens are following, and there's a peer pressure. Like, I have done this. I have posted a dance video with my friends. Now some other group has to post a dance video. So if I do not post it, I think I'm lacking somewhere. I have not accomplished something. So those kind of things you hear around the teens, if you are surrounded by any teens. So they got that kind of a pressure, that apart from homeworks, apart from other examinations that they have to appear for, there's a pressure to shoot a video with friends to just complete some trend that is going on. Now, AI influencers, we increasingly see there are a lot of people, these AI influencers, and also these are YouTube social media influencers that are influencing our kids, and they're following them. They're following their trends. They want to follow their career path, and it feels that it is gratifying and it's very fulfilling. Adults. Now, in adults, work automation, tailored news feeds. A lot of us are hooked onto news feeds. We read news often, and professional branding. So which could be the positive sides? Now, researchers and professionals, AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, these kind of generative AI platforms are actually helping us as an assistant in increasing our productivity. And it's making things a lot faster for us than before, but it also risks burnout. It also risks increased screen time, which is also not healthy for our mental and physical health. Now, the popular term these days, brain rot, the silent effect of overconsumption of digital information. Now, brain rot, as most of you must have heard about this term, this is a term used to describe mental fog and cognitive decline from excessive digital media, excessive use of social media, all those reels, Instagram reels or Facebook reels or YouTube shorts, TikTok reels, those kind of things. Origin. So what's the origin of this word? It's very popular in online community, and it describes the effects of endless content consumption and that dopamine hit that we get by the scrolling. And we always think that we are reading and we are consuming information that we want. We are consuming the information that is giving us a valuable dose of information that I really, really need. But do we really need that much of information? That's the question. What are its effects? It reduces critical thinking. A lot of research is going on that, use of social media, the consumption of blue light, the consumption or the exposure, the amount of exposure of blue light, and also screen time, increase screen time. So it's very alarming in several ways, but we have to be cautious about it. Increasing passive consumption over active learning. This is one of the effects of increased use of social media. Mastering AI and social media for personal growth. So what are the positive sides of AI? We can use AI for learning now. There are many courses available for every field, and the universities are also using AI to provide the courses for free of cost to any student who would like to learn or who would like to understand those courses all across the globe, which is a great thing, which is a great initiative. It increases productivity, right? And everybody can have access to that, even if they're not going to college. Even if a student cannot afford to go to college, they can still consume the same course that an MIT student is consuming. MIT student is studying in the university campus. So, which is a great thing. Limit mindless scrolling and engage in real world activities. So we have to be mindful about it rather than mindless scrolling. We should engage more in the physical work or real world activities, meeting people, engaging more in networking events, these kind of things. Maybe how we can make effective use of AI, and do not let it dictate our lives. Be mindful of algorithm-driven content biases. So one of the biggest threats of digital media, and also with AI, there could be like a lot of biases that some firms, some tech companies, or some brands can create, which can have ill effects on our day-to-day lives, on our any aspect of our life, be it political or socio-economic or any kind of. So we have to be mindful about the algorithm biases as well. We should not blindly believe on whatever we read on social media, even if from your family member or your peer who you hold in high regards, they circulate something. We should always try to cross-check or validate the authenticity of the post. Now, dopamine and phones, why we can't stop scrolling. So have you ever thought about it? So I want to ask you all a question. Why do we feel the urge to check our phones every few minutes? So I think most of us know the answer. And since you all are in this field, dopamine, this is a neurotransmitter that makes us feel pleasure. So the instant dopamine hit that we get with the endless scrolling, that is what keeps us hooked on to the endless scrolling. Our phone notifications, most of us have by default all the phone notifications for all the apps that we have installed. It's on, right? You have to go make an effort to consciously disable the notifications so that it doesn't beep. But most of us have kept it on, or some of the very important apps, when they beep, we have an instant urge to take our phones and just check them. Phone notifications and likes. So they act like mini dopamine rewards. It's like, there's a beep and I check my phone. Oh, it could be a message from my family member. It could be an important message about the post that I made and my colleague must have commented or something like that. Somebody must be returning a call or message, something like that. So those kind of thoughts instantly come to our mind and it keeps us hooked. So is it bad, or why is it bad? It's bad because it reduces our attention span. So we may be doing some work. We may be in the middle of something important, right? And as soon as we hear the notification, there is an instant urge. Okay, let me quickly check it. Now, that is the side effect. It reduces attention span and impulse control. Now, can it lead to phone addiction and decreased real-world satisfaction? Yes, very much so. So what is the solution? Now, we need to set notification limits. We need to take breaks and replace phone habits with real-world rewards. Okay, so I do not use my phone for 2 hours. Just an example. You can create your own reward. Okay, and then I will go and take a 5 minutes walk outside. Okay, you also tend to feel good when you take a walk out in the fresh air. That could be one of the rewards, which is creating a healthy habit as well. Doom scrolling, the trap of negative news. So definition, what is doom scrolling? Doom scrolling is the act of endlessly consuming negative news online. Even if we don't want to, like, negative things do naturally, have a tendency to get our attention. And why it happens? Fear and anxiety makes our brain crave more information. We read some weird headline about a news event, and then instantly we want to know more about it, how it happened, where it happened, and do I know somebody there? So these kind of questions, we want to answer them immediately. So news algorithms, the algorithms, especially in the digital media, they prioritize shocking content to keep us engaged. you must have seen all those headlines. So after this presentation, after the conference, you can start actually noticing these things. Look at the headlines. Are they being made in such a way that gets our attention in one go? And we definitely want to click the link once and read something about it, right? So why is it happening? Because it is that compelling. It is that algorithmically driven. Now, what are the effects of it? It definitely, we are reading and consuming negative information, so it increases stress and anxiety. It may also create a distorted view of reality. Whatever we are being served, sometimes we tend to take it as it is. So there we need to be mindful about what we are consuming and how much of it we are consuming. Now, this algorithm bias, how AI shapes what we see. Is there really a free will, or is something under these algorithm biases that we do not know, and they are impacting us, or they're shaping our thought process? Example, TikTok and political content bias. TikTok, you must have heard about all the news and all the coverage around TikTok, that it was known to create a lot of political biases, a lot of those kind of reels and contents that would kind of brainwash masses into thinking something, while that was not the truth. Studies show TikTok's algorithm pushes different narratives based on past engagement. This has been already proved. And it seems so silly, but this is a very big problem. And it creates filter bubbles, reinforcing existing beliefs instead of exposing diverse viewpoints. So it's like, filtering many of the comments, filtering out or removing many of the comments if they do not serve the purpose of those videos or those narratives. So where's the freedom of speech? That is something to think about. Now, why it matters. It can influence elections and public opinion. And there have been a lot of allegations about influencing the elections and the possibility of electing a candidate just because of several fake news. So it became a big issue in the United States as well, several years ago. Limits exposure to diverse perspectives. Since most of these platforms, Twitter allegedly has done that, TikTok allegedly has done that. So we do not know what the truth is, but there was a lot of talk about that. They tend to remove the opinions of many experts, and they tend to promote the opinions posted by certain other experts in some subject matter, especially political opinions. So that is something that makes us think and question that, are these really allowing the free will, and are they letting us voice our opinions freely? So are we in control of what we see online, or do we really get controlled by these algorithm biases? So what's the solution? Solution is we should follow diverse sources. We should not believe any post that gets circulated through several social media platforms, right? We should definitely cross-check the information if it is available on some other news sites as well, if it is circulating in the social media. And that is one way to validate. And we also have to be aware of the AI-driven biases. Maximizing benefits and avoiding pitfalls. So how can we maximize the use? How can we maximize the benefits given to us by AI? And how can we avoid the pitfalls, right? So AI tools can help us enhance learning, like ChatGPT. If we use it for increasing our knowledge, helping us gain more information about our research topics, write an essay, write any kind of a, information on a topic, and just gather information on a topic, that this could be some of the very productive uses and will save a lot of time. Write summary of a research paper, upload a research paper, and just write let's say 2000 word summary or maybe 200 word summary. What are the main points, right? Bullet points. Now those kind can save you a lot of time and will help you in your research work, will help you increasing your productivity. So this is a very amazing tool as well if we use it wisely. But we also have to be aware of the screen time. We should not engage into long continuous screen exposures, and we should also be mindful. And I believe we should take a break to, just take a walk for 5 minutes after every 1 hour, or take a break, drink water. So there are notifications that you can set on your phone, these kind of things, or your screen, your computer. While you're working on your laptop, you can set some notifications which can remind you 1 hour, and now it's time to take a water break or a walk break, 5 minutes. So developing these habits, using AI, using digital media to help foster good habits is also a constructive use of these tools. Now, be mindful of algorithm-driven content biases. So always think that whatever we see, whatever information, no matter how authentic it may seem, it may not be authentic. So we have to always try to cross-check and cross-validate on different other sources as well. Now, practice digital detoxes to maintain mental clarity. So digital detoxes, if you have used social media, if you have used your digital media, you are using your laptop for your work for 3 hours straight, for 4 hours straight, or maybe 5-6 hours straight, then just take a break. At least think that I will not use social media, I will not use any screens for at least 2 hours. No, absolutely no screen time, no TV, no phones, no laptops. So these could be digital detoxes. Okay, I will spend more time with my family. I'll switch off my phone. If you cannot switch off your phone, I will not look at my phone for 4 hours on Saturday morning. I'll spend time with my family. So those kind of things you can do for digital detoxes, which will help you gain mental clarity and also healthy and happy time with your family. AI. Is AI our best friend or enemy? So as we have already discussed most of the pitfalls and how we can, maybe develop good habits possibly using AI and digital media. AI can be a powerful tool, as we discussed, for researchers, for professionals, if we use it wisely. But we should also avoid over-reliance on AI for emotional or decision-making needs. We should not be making decisions using any AI tools. We should apply our own judgment criteria, also cross-validating the facts before making any decisions on any topic, any subject. So that's very important. Balance AI-driven interactions with in real-world human connections. So we have to be mindful about the usage of AI-driven interactions and also the human connections, how we are, framing a reality using all what we have. Now, why psychological counseling matters in digital age? So as we have a lot of counselors here, therapists here with us, counseling offers tools to manage anxiety, stress, and digital addiction. In the age of digital media, I think all who are in this field today with us, they would agree that they also have seen an increasing rate of anxiety, stress, digital addiction. People are not able to manage their emotions well, right? There's an increasing need of psychological help or counseling for professionals, no matter in which field they are working. It helps build a healthy relationship with technology. Maybe with the help of counselors, with the help of psychological counselors, we can get some strategies and implement those strategies in our daily lives to lead a better, fulfilled, and healthy lifestyle. It encourages mindfulness and emotional resilience. I definitely personally feel all of these points are absolutely true, and an expert opinion and expert strategies would definitely help us maintain a healthy relationship with digital media and also in all the aspects of our life. Okay, so this brings us to the conclusion and positive takeaways of today's presentation. So the conclusion of our talk, okay, use social media, AI, they are very powerful. There's no doubt about it. So we have to use them wisely. We should use them to gather knowledge, to fact check properly with correct resources and sources, and take decisions considering all aspects. Now, prioritize. We have to work on prioritizing mental health or mental well being over digital distractions, not checking notifications often, not always being on social media, not getting trapped under the pressure of, that I have to show the world where I went for vacation with my family, how much fun I had, what I had for dinner, what I had for lunch, etc., etc. So we have to prioritize, what we want, how we want to use it, and we have to not fall prey to the distractions. Now, take regular breaks, engage in real world activities. Try to spend more time with family, with friends, have meaningful conversations as opposed to endless scrolling through the reels of YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Now, stay informed, stay balanced, and lead a fulfilling life. We have to be cautious, we have to be mindful of all the pitfalls that we have discussed, and the doom scrolling, the brain rot, and the instant dopamine hit, the instant gratification that social media interactions give us, and take care of our overall well-being. Okay, so that's it for today. And here, if we have any more time left, then we can take some questions if anybody has any questions.
Any question, anybody?
Ma'am, I have a question now. Everyone knows that news and media people are spreading only negative news. So all the psychologists, why don't we make an effort to make the Indian news channels to say some good news at least? Like because when 20% of crime rates are there, means 80% good things also happening in India. Now, why don't we put an effort to make the channels to say good news is also in news so that dopamine will will be useful for everyone, no?
That's a great question, Mia, and I think that is best left to answer to the psychologist, to the counselors present here. I think we as people have a lot of power, and we have the power of social media, so that can be used. We can raise a voice. You can, in fact, go on PMO India's Twitter page, right, which is now X, and you can tag PMO India, and then you can raise this question that, I would like to see more of positive news of encouragements being presented in the national media, because we are fed up of hearing all those negative and grim news all the time. So, you can raise this concern. You can just tag that,
Sure.
this is, we have what we want to see more, and people have a lot of power. This is a democratic nation. So that's a very good question, and that's a very good thought. Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
I can see one more hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Deepika
Sneha, please
ma'am.
take
A
it.
very good morning to everyone. Thank you for the wonderful presentation and an eye opener for the new psychologists, the young ones especially. I absolutely agree with your presentation, ma'am. Just a observation of what the previous speaker just said. When I was doing my master's, I read Mihali's lines in one of the positive schooling book, in which he says that we delve a lot on the negativity and we delve more on negativity rather than on positivity. So the news channels play a very important role. And if the media starts talking about how one can help each other, promote pro social behavior, altruism, and empathy, definitely we can have a better world. And absolutely, we should raise this as psychologists that media should reduce negative news and um, it's we are not saying that they should stop showing the reality, but they should balance. They should also talk about things which are positive, things which are good initiatives taken by people. There are a lot of people doing a lot of social work, helping each other. So those things should be recorded and explored and should be talked more. And that way, then again, what Diner says, a spiral begins. The chain of the positive emotions will begin in people, and definitely anger and anxiety, all the negative emotions can be easily handled and managed when you have more of positivity in you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I agree, Shama. I agree with your observation. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, we as people have a lot of power in this democratic nation, and we are heard in the digital media. Everyone has a voice, so that is the biggest power of social media and digital media today. So one of the things I know is I know some people who have tagged PMO India about some issues, some basic civic issues, and they actually reverted back to them, which is a great initiative. So yeah, so you as a counselor, or a psychologist, budding psychologist, you can actually do some, make some effort like that and set an example for others.
Thank you so much, Shikha. Very nice answer you have given. Very nice. And listening you and listening yesterday's speakers, I am feeling and realizing, which I always say, always, we are living in a two world. One is our life, and another is a media world. This cyber world has a completely different world, but parallelly we are living in both. That's why not only in this real life we have to create the things, but we have to create in this parallel cyber life as well. And it's a very big area for the psychologist. I'm just giving a call to everyone to take the topics for your research like this as the cyber psychology. And the cyber world is there, complete different world, and which is very much untouched by the psychologists. Very few researches have been conducted and few books have been written on it. So it's a completely new dimension of our life. As we live parallel life on many dimensions, so this is becoming a very big dimension of our life. So that's why this is very important. And we are the creator, we are the dealers, and we are the bearers also. So that's why all of us can work together for it. Thank you so much, dear, for bringing us so many good ideas and knowledge. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rita, for your remarkable comments. Thank you for your appreciation.
God
Thank
bless
you,
you.
everybody, for listening and giving me a chance to present my opinions and thoughts on this subject. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Shikha ma'am, for such an engaging session. The points you highlighted are like truly thought provoking. I think most of us scroll through social media longer than we realize, sometimes just for a few minutes, and before we know it, hours passed. So, my question to the audience is that how many hours do you actually spend on social media? You can type your answers in the chat. Now, moving forward, I invite Dr. Saranya Sundarraju, a psychologist, psycho-oncologist, and postdoctoral research fellow at INTI University in Malaysia. She will be discussing on dignity therapy for cancer patients. I would like to highlight that she is amongst few Indian psychologists who have expertise in dignity therapy. In her PhD, she has researched on dignity therapy extensively. So When someone faces a serious illness, it's not just about the body that suffers, the mind and emotions are deeply affected too. So, how can dignity therapy support a patient's emotional well being? Let's hear from Dr. Saranya. Ma'am, the screen is yours.
Dr. Sharanya, please unmute.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are now.
Hey, good morning to one and all present.
We have lost your voice in between. Is it only me who is not able to listen?
I'm
Yes,
not able
please.
to listen, not able to listen.
Dr. Sharanya, can you please fix your audio?
Unmute yourself, please.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 1 second.
Yes. You are audible now.
Okay, if I'm audible, I think I can just go ahead with the presentation.
Yeah, now you are.
Yeah, yes. So I will be talking about the dignity therapy. So it is a brief psychotherapeutic intervention that is given for the palliative care cancer patients or any other patients. So since they have tested this therapy with the palliative care cancer patient, my research was more on the palliative care patients. But later on, even for the advanced care patients, the therapy is given. So before we step into dignity therapy and as a brief psychotherapeutic patients and how it benefits the cancer patient, I would like to introduce the field of psycho-oncology for people, who are very new to this field. I think some of you would be exposed to this term psycho-oncology, but some students would be new to that. So for them, I'm just giving an introduction before we go deep into the therapy and the effectiveness of the therapy. That is my research, that was my PhD research. So what is this psycho-oncology is an emerging field. I think we are aware that the disease is spreading more. In 80s and 90s, we have been hearing very less about cancer, right? Now these days we are hearing more about cancer, and the disease started spreading, and the prevalence is more actually. I think everybody of you would agree with me. So this psycho-oncology is an emerging field of psychology where psychologists play a major role in addressing the psychological, social, and emotional problems of the cancer patient. So as we all know that oncology or the cancer disease, it's not it is a continuous journey. Okay, diagnosis, it goes on for period of cycles, that the treatment carries on, and there are so many stages. Okay, it is not addressed in one particular day or one particular cycle. So when it is a journey, there is a lot of issues that has to be addressed in order to protect the well-being, quality of life of the patient, and help the patient to cope. I think psychologists are the ones where I think we can do justice to all the problems of the patients. I think we have to intervene this field. So this is how the field evolved. So touching upon the historical barriers related to cancer, as soon as a patient is diagnosed with cancer, I think the immediate question that comes to them is, why me? Why did I get cancer? So what harm did I do to others? So mostly, it is being viewed as a reflection of karma, or say bad attitude or negativity, and still that that kind of stigma exists in our society. So people immediately think if a person gets cancer, they have done something bad in their past, and they are, and they are, and now they have got cancer. So this is a kind of the social perception that is going on, that is revolving around the cancer and the disease, that literally affects the patient's mental health. I think the patient already who is in the pain and who is in the shock and who is uncertain about what is going to happen next are also burdened with the other kind of the symptoms like social stigma and discriminations and other things. Okay, so this field of psycho-oncology mainly addresses that part of the psychological aspects, social aspects, and other things. So what are the behavioral and the psychological factors in cancer risk? Initially, when the field of psycho-oncology evolved, it started with the risk factors, like for example the tobacco cessation, the smoking, usage of tobacco, and its cessation. Yeah, the field of psycho-oncology first evolved like that. So what are the risk factors involved in that? The sun exposure and the carcinogens. People started researching about all these risk factors when it came to psycho-oncology. Then it slowly moved on addressing the emotions of the patient, the palliative care of the palliation, the treatment journey, and in what are the ways a psychologist can intervene a person. They started working with the clinicians, like they formed a team, like a social worker, a clinician, and a psychologist. They joined together in order to address the problems of the patient. So this is how slowly it evolved. Okay, so when we talk about the psychosocial factors, immediately when a person is diagnosed with cancer, immediately the what thought goes is the marital status. What is his family status? Because as we all know, the treatment for cancer is not very cheap, it is very costly. So how the person will afford to it? What is a marital status? Like how many members are dependent on him? And what is the social integration, and what are the roles and responsibilities the person is playing in the society, and how all these all these psychosocial factors can be addressed or solved when the patient is in the treatment, whether it is whether he is a head of the family or whether he is a dependent. If for example, if he is the head of the family, he cannot go to the work, so definitely he has to find an alternate source of income, whether he has a savings, or whether some of the family members is support him. If the patient is the women, there might be children and she has to go through the responsibilities. So who will alternate her, and who will take care of the responsibility? So there's so many other psychosocial factors. One side we have the treatment, the kind of the follow up, the adherence, treatment adherence. The other side, the psychosocial factors. These psychosocial factors are mainly the role of the psychologist. So we as psychologists are going to address the psychosocial factors mainly. So that is what I was able to I'm trying to talk about those psychosocial factors, and we as psychologists, what role we play to address the psychosocial factors effectively. So coming to the psychological issues related to cancer, so there are so many psychological issues. We can simply say that when a person is diagnosed with cancer, they might immediately be ignorant. Okay, they don't want to accept they got the cancer. It will take a longer time. We call it takes a lot of stages for the person to accept that he has got cancer. So it will take a longer time, and that will need a brief intervention by a psychologist. That is phase one, we can say. And after that, the person accepts, immediately what happens is his daily routine changes. Okay, he would have been following some routine daily. So after this diagnosis, immediately the routine changes, and there is lots and lots of lifestyle alterations that this person has to make in order to adapt to the disease treatment. So it involves lot of the patient would like to talk more about it. Like for example, the uncertainty he faced. Sometimes the patient is guilty about why he has got cancer, and he would like to blame himself for all the lifestyle, whether he is a smoker or a drinker, alcoholic. So he would like to, so all these things, he wants to talk to a psychologist and sometimes not the clinician, because as you all know that clinicians, especially the oncology clinicians are very busy. They don't have much time. They always have time to discuss about the treatment cycle and how to go about it, but they don't have time to discuss about the these specific factors, that is the psychological issues they're undergoing. Sometimes the patient gets into the phase of depression, anxiety, and whatnot, every other depression. And if this is not addressed by a psychologist effectively, so I would like to again emphasize why a psychologist, or what effective role that the psychologist plays is that, so at this point of time, if his depression, anger, guilt, uncertainty, if all these issues are not addressed, there are possibilities. The patient might move to a psychiatric emergencies. So might be he might attempt for a suicide, or he might isolate himself, and his personality traits might change, and there might be lot of behavioral issues in the person, which is not good for the family or the society. Ultimately, all these factors it ultimately affects the quality of life of the patients. So it is essentially important when we talk about the psychiatric emergencies or the behavioral thing. It is important. Psychotherapeutic interventions are going to play a very important role in cancer care, because it is not only the patient who is involved in the journey, it is the family and the caretakers who are involved in the entire treatment journey. So psycho-oncology or the psychotherapeutic intervention, when we design it for the patient, we always talk not only about the patient, we talk about the family, we talk about the social society, or the social the social circle where he lives in. And that's why it is called as a holistic approach. We are not addressing one person, we are addressing his family, the society, and also the other persons who is closely associated with him. And now coming to the psychotherapeutic intervention. So there are many psychotherapeutic interventions, suitable, depends upon, where the need arises. Based upon the need arises, there are a lot of psychotherapeutic intervention. For example, uh, this one, CBT can be given, supportive psychotherapy can be given. And in recent days we are talking about the acceptance and the commitment therapy and its effectiveness, and there are a lot of researches going on to find out how this acceptance and commitment therapy is useful. Or one of my friends is also doing a research on this, and the results are yet to we are yet to know the results. But especially when among the cancer patient, the insomnia is very common, and one of the researchers have found that how the CBT is can be helpful to address the problem of insomnia in cancer patient. So there are tailor made, and there are so many therapies that is engaged with cancer care. So now I'm specifically moving to a very important therapy called as the dignity therapy. Especially this therapy is it is given at the end of life. We all know, at one point of time, the cancer the journey, or the cancer treatment becomes ineffective, and there is no scope for the survival. So in that case, when it is out of control, or it has crossed the stages, and if the no more the disease can be controlled, so they move into a stage called as a palliative stage, palliative care. We sometimes refer it to as end of life care. So after which, when a person when the clinician refers the patient to the palliative care, he tells that there is no more treatment, okay, and after which only the symptoms are addressed, and no longer the disease is addressed. So that is the stage where palliative care, they refer it to a palliative care, and we call them as dying patients also, because they soon they are going to they like it is not like when they will die, we cannot mark the date of death, okay. So it goes like a 3 months, 4 months, or that. And in the Western culture, they found this dignity therapy, and the author of the therapy, the founder of the therapy, is called as Harvey Cockinow. He is from Canada, basically. He found out this therapy on identifying a model, ABC model. he found that when you are put into a palliative care, so what is more important for you during the end of life care? What is very much important? And he did lot of researches. As we all know, the patients who are in the deathbed, okay, and they know that they're going to die someday, and they will be put in the thing, and they know one side, they will be like pain, and treatment will be going on. Sorry, no treatment, they will be addressing the symptoms, like pain will be there, and lot of comorbidities will be there, and lot of things will be there. The other side, the psychological aspects of them will be greatly affected, and they feel they are always a burden for the family, and they always wish that they should not live anymore. So that is a kind of the mental status of the person, okay. It is very critical, not like the person who is in the ward undergoing treatment. Especially the palliative care patients, they are prone to a lot of psychological trauma. They will be expecting death, but they are unsure when the death will approach them. So daily and daily, they will be going through a lot of, they will be praying, and the spiritual thing loses its, and they will be completely lost hope. There will be no hope at all, because the doctor will say no more treatment, and somewhere they will be aware of what is happening in them, and they will be draining also. This is a situation of the palliative care, actually. So this therapy, especially by Harvey Kakino, it was found in the Western thing, and he also found it is a base from a narrative therapy. So during this therapy, there is a dignity. Dignity. There is a tool that assesses the dignity of the patient. Okay, he has found a tool, and before the therapy is given, that tool or the questions is asked to that patient, and to measure the level of dignity. Like for example, the questions would be like, how do they look at the life, and how are they able to do the daily work, something like that. There will be some 25 questions that basically assesses the dignity of the patient. Then comes the main therapy. Like in the therapy, he will be asking, like the therapy as such will be asking about the memories of the patient. Like for example, tell me little about your whatever you have achieved in your life. So it will be all based on the legacy, and there will be some 10 questions where the patient is expected to answer to this question. Like there is another question also: tell me about what have you achieved in your life, and what have you not achieved in your life. What are your plans for the future generation, and how would you like your legacy to be carried by the future generation? And all this question, there will be about 10 questions, whether whether respond mean the person who is giving the therapy will mark the answers, will record the answers. And after that, again, after the person, the therapist has got some kind of responses from the patient, they will be like preparing a legacy document. That's the most interesting part of that. And they will be preparing a legacy document, whatever the patient have told, they will be preparing a legacy document. And again, the suggestions are asked to that patient, and they will be told that this legacy document will be given to one of their family members whom they wish. And they will be also asked, like how they want the legacy document. Like for example, when I was conducting the therapy, I remember a patient telling that he wants a legacy document full of God's picture. And I remember also a patient telling he wants a legacy document like bright, with bright colors. And there are people who say they want it very dull and in black colors. And the choice of obtaining that legacy document is given to them. And after they have completed this treatment, okay, the therapy, and it goes for about 1 month or 2 months, as far as the in between, since they are dying patients, okay, continuously they cannot go through the therapy. They can break them into sessions, and they can take it for about 1 month. So during this 1 month, how did they feel? And that is supposed to be the effectiveness of the intervention. So I thought, like I was when I was doing my research, I thought, addressing the cancer care patient, I thought as a psychologist, palliative care patients are not touched upon. because some of the reasons, like the palliative care wards are not like other wards, and nobody wants to get into the palliative care because it's full of sadness, sorrow, and there are a lot of regrets and other things. So I, as a psychologist, want to touch especially upon this population, that is the dying patient, to to formulate a therapy actually. Then I came across this dignity therapy, and I spoke to the author, and I said, in Indian setting, we wanted to study the in Indian setting, we wanted to study how this dignity therapy. As we all know, there are cultural differences. Okay, in Indian setting, it is very different, whereas in the foreign setting or the Western culture, it is very different. So I told him, like, I wanted to study how this dignity therapy will be useful to the patient in Indian populations. So he ultimately said that you can make some adaptations, okay, and based upon addressing the feasibility, acceptability, and effectiveness of the dignity therapy, you can make some adaptation based upon the Indian setting. So he gave the permission, and he trained me on dignity therapy, and it involves some few sections, and you have to do a lot of practice, since we are dealing with the clinical population. As you all know that dying patients are the clinical samples, okay, and there are a lot of ethical issues. You cannot simply get into the palliative care to address, telling that you're going to intervene them, or you're going to address their psychosocial issues or psychological problems. So there were a lot of ethical issues concerned with that, and you have to justify why it is a very suitable therapy. And that's where I went into a lot of the review of literature, how it has been useful, and various RCTs that has been done in Western settings, and how it has been, how it can be adapted to Indian settings also. So then we formulated the study called the feasibility, acceptability, and effectiveness of dignity therapy among palliative care cancer patients in Tamil Nadu. So this is the first study, the dignity therapy. When I was being trained, I was the one to be trained in India basically. So that's the reason we don't want to take northern side, and there are a lot of language barriers also. So we first took Tamil, we wanted to take Tamil Nadu and the Tamil population, because the translations could be easy. He had been using some tools for that to assess the dignity. So we did it like, we translated into Tamil, and we conducted the therapy. And it was only 30 patients. When, as I said, ethical concerns are very important. They don't give permissions, and recruiting dying patient is very difficult, especially after, when they are put into palliative care, they prefer to go home, and there are a lot of geographical barriers. For each patient, you cannot be going. So some of the institute like Jivo Udaya, which is a palliative care center, and it is a home-based palliative care center where patients were put there till their death. So we went there, and some of the institutes gave permission to conduct the study. So we conducted the study, and the end of the study results were found that it is highly effective for patient. Because not only from the results that I've got from the study, and I was able to check out the happiness that every other patient had during the therapy. So when they were asked about their narrations, okay, when they were asked about their achievements and other things, they were really happy to answer, and they were able to look back at their life and whatever they have achieved, and whatever regrets they had. And I would like to mention a special case also. One person who was one patient who was about to die. They had a family issue, and she recorded it in the legacy document. Then we spoke to the families that that would be the last wish for her. And the two family came down and settled the conflict in front of her. And she was very happy that even after her death, the two families are going to remain together. So every other person have lot of unresolved conflict at the end of their life. I think this dignity therapy was a chance for the patients to come out with the to come out with their own repressed thoughts. Few other people, they had something to be told, but they were never given a chance to tell. So this legacy document or preparation of the legacy document was a good chance for them before their death to record things. And it was like, living back their life, they were their achievements, and whatever they've what do they have for the future generation, how they wanted to be, what are their wishes, and everything were recorded in the legacy document and were given to them. And later on, this is concerned about the patient. The study was about how this dignity therapy helped the patients only. We stopped it with that, and then the results were like it is highly effective. And the future study, we also studied as a small part how it has helped the caretakers. The caretakers they play a very important role, because during the cancer journey, what happens is that at one stage they lose their energy. The caretakers and the family, they lose their energy, so they want some motivation or something, or even the psychological counseling or something as we give for the patient. It is essentially important to address the caretakers also, because they will be almost drained when before the death. The person or the spouse or the family or the immediate family, the son's daughter, they will be drained, drained out of energy, emotional outburst and distress. Okay, so we found, and I personally wanted to take forward the study to among the caretakers also. So I did a small qualitative study. I found out from them like how this dignity therapy not only helped the patient but also the caretaker. And they really said that they were able to understand how the patient felt. Many times patient never reveals they don't reveal the true self. They hide something, and they don't want to burden the family, so they keep all those feelings for themselves. And one of the caretakers, even she felt very grateful, because she was residing in in some other country, and the patient has passed away, and she has completed the dignity therapy. And that when she came back for the death of the thing, this legacy document was given to the daughter, where she has recorded about the daughter, and she had important informations to convey to her daughter. So in that way, this dignity therapy has also helped the caretakers and others to to come out of the distress, and feel a kind of a kind of empathetic understanding for the dying patient. So that is all about dignity therapy. And I also would stress upon few other therapies are also, we are trying to tailor make all those eclectic therapy, this dignity therapy can be given as a combination with various other therapies also. It is not like only dignity therapy will help the end of life cancer patients to intervene, and it can be given along with the few other therapies for better interventions and better plans, and to restore the better quality of life also. So I would like to finish it off with these points about dignity therapy. So if you have any questions or doubts, I think we can go ahead with that. So we can spend more time on that. I'll be happy to answer more about dignity therapy. Thank you.
Saranya, Dr. Saranya, can we take up
Yes.
the questions? Sneha, please take up the questions one by one.
Yes, Lavina, please go ahead. Hello, ma'am. So really glad to understand the research that you've done, and you mentioned that dignity therapy is something that comes at the later stage of cancer, and but I also wanted to understand, can that also be used with someone who is undergoing treatment? Because it sort of gives them the hope, or maybe like they can sort of go back and see that okay, this is what they've done and this is what they want to do. So maybe that can also act as a protective factor. So just wanted to understand if there's any research where this has been done on ongoing cancer treatment patients as well.
Yeah. I don't think because this dignity therapy, these questions, the legacy document preparation questions, especially addresses the end of life care because it talks about tell me little about your achievements, where you are giving an impression that you are giving a signal that the person is going to recollect the past, so that there is no hope for the treatment and other things. Especially in the Indian scenario, okay, Indian setting or Indian scenario, people who are undergoing treatment were not comfortable answering all this question. They always look for a hope to live, right? Everybody wants to live during the treatment. They wanted to live. And this dignity therapy questions, they a few questions, maybe they can be modified. That is what we are planning for the next, like it can be modified, and then pilot study may be conducted, and we have to first check upon its effectiveness, whether a person undergoing treatment is happy about this therapy, and maybe based upon some of the modifications in the question. See, whatever I have done for the dying patient, as it cannot be given for the the person who is going at the treatment. Maybe we can have some modifications, and we can try implementing it in the among the advanced care patient, and based upon the feedback and the study results, maybe we can go ahead with that. But we have to make some modifications. As such, it cannot be given, and we have to obtain permission from the author also, the founder who found the
Right.
dignity therapy. Yes, we can do that for the future study.
Thank you so much. Yes, Ishita, you can ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for telling us about a therapy that at least I was not aware of at all up until now. And it's something very new that I've learned. What I wanted to know was, let's say, even if somebody hasn't specialized in psycho-oncology per se, but would want to learn about dignity therapy in particular. So, is there any specific organization that I could approach or that we could go to learn about this therapy, or any certificate courses that happen? If you could tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So if you are very new to the psycho-oncology and other things, first I would recommend you to take up a short internship at a psycho-oncology ward, where you make an you understand what is actually happening and happening in the psycho-oncology ward, and you make yourself comfortable with the cancer patient, because addressing cancer patients is not that very easy. So I would recommend, like, you go for a 3 months internship or 1 month internship in the the oncological wards, to to familiarize yourself with the environment. Especially working with palliative care patients is not very easy. So after that, maybe you can directly take up training from Harvey Kakino. He's the person who has invented the therapy, or the person he is giving an online thing also. He is giving an online training also. He conducts every 6 months he takes up the training, where he himself trains the psycho-oncologist to conduct the therapy. So if you are in the immediate requirement, okay, you can take from us, who he has trained to conduct the therapy. You can actually take the training from us. Yeah, but you need lot of practice. Okay, you cannot directly, after, even if you are trained, you cannot directly enter the field, and you cannot talk to them. There is lot of hesitations, and there are a lot of barriers. You simply go, and you have to establish a rapport. You have to establish a good people. They don't really open up. And especially you are asking many personal questions in the therapy, so you need to take some practice. So that practice can be taken from people who have been trained from them, so like a certificate or course or something, and we can go ahead with that. But I suggest you that you first of all, you go get into the oncology ward, and you familiarize yourself to the feelings and the emotions that happen in that wards. Okay, and you see that you are very comfortable with that. If you're not comfortable, then I think that's it. And the dignity therapy comes only by practice. You have to practice, patient number 1, 2, 3, and it goes. You have to practice among 10 persons, and you can go that. As I told, there are two things that you can do. Every 6 months, sir is giving a training program, online training program. You can register in that, and you can get trained. And if you are very, in the need that you have to learn the therapy, you can learn it from us, who have already, who have been trained with him, and he will give the certificate. I mean, the approved certificate. He can give like a certificate course or something. Did I answer your thing?
Absolutely, ma'am. Definitely, your suggestion is actually completely accurate. First, I should actually go intern in a place first to understand if I can even deal in that sort of a setup or interact with a population that is so vulnerable already. But I was actually extremely interested in it, so I will definitely take up your suggestion and maybe look for an internship first. Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, no more questions, right? Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session. You brought attention to something we don't talk about enough, like how dignity therapy helps cancer patients feel heard and respected. It's a great reminder that healing isn't just about medicine, emotional supports matters just as much. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Can I take a minute?
Sure, ma'am.
Saranya, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. I listened to you previously also. It was delighted to listen to you. And listening this therapy always gives me a feeling that giving a meaning to the end of the life, which is very important. Because yes, patients are in the pain, and everybody knows that body is depleting so fast. But yes, giving those moments a meaning will go with them. That thought, that emotion will go with them. Nothing else will go with them. So that is why it is very important for patients and the caregivers as well, because usually everybody thinks. Many times students ask when I take psycho-oncology class, when the patient is dying, there is no hope. How can a psychologist deal with them? Because what hope we can create in them. So this therapy brings out a very good solution to psycho-oncologists, which is a very burning field. Nowadays, people are coming and hospitals are asking us to give psycho-oncologist because we are running a course. So that is why this is a very important therapy for them. Thank you so much, Saranya. Thank you.
I have one more thing to record here. If many of you are interested, as such, when we talk about dignity therapy, the therapy itself, teaching the therapy itself goes for 3 days. Okay, it is a practical, and we have to take up the therapy ourselves, and we have to conduct it upon the others. So, if many of you are interested, I think we can request Deepika ma'am to conduct the certificate or the workshop on dignity therapy, so that many of you could be benefited, and we can try more research also. Like, for example, the scope of the therapy can be further explored, and we can obtain special permission from Harvey also, and we can publish a book or something on that based on Indian setting. What differences that we are you observing in the Indian setting, we can go ahead with that. That's my request for Deepika ma'am and ma'am also. Thank you, ma'am.
And it is very good for geriatric population also. Because and no doctor, nobody feels, they all say, oh, ये तो age हो गया है अब तो, इसलिए treatment तो कुछ होगा नहीं. Leave many times them without taking care of nicely. So that is why it is very important for aging people and people who are really very old and having no physical strength. So this is good for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saranya. First thing first, as such, the field of psycho-oncology is very close to my heart. Reason being, my mother had breast cancer and she was bedridden for 2 years, good 2 years. And I was the only caretaker, and my age was 11. It was between 11 to 17 years of age. So I've experienced a lot of emotions. I have seen the emotions of a person who is dying every day. I have observed and experienced my own emotions and the emotions of my family members. it is a very difficult situation. So in that situation, if we are really able to help the person who is living the world, and that too happily, and those who are being left behind, if we are trying to make them strong, and even if bits and pieces we are able to support them, then Dr. Sharanya, my support is always with you. You are just like a younger sister, and we have been together for I think more than 8 years. It is always a feast to listen to you, and definitely we can work out. So anybody who is interested in the group can put up a message and contact Kajal and Sneha for the same, and then we can organize. So thank you so much, Dr. Sharanya. Thank you so much for your talk. Over to you, Sneha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, I invite Major Anupa Carey, a psychologist, perinatal mental health therapist, and director of the Perinatal Mental Health Vertical at Speakingcube. We all have heard that motherhood is a beautiful journey, but it also comes with a lot of challenges. Ma'am will be discussing about therapeutic approaches in perinatal counseling and how can therapy support a mother's mental health during this phase. Let's hear from Major Anupa. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sneha. First of all, good afternoon, good morning to all of you. And I would like to thank you, Dr. Deepika Chamoli Shahi and Speakingcube for providing me this opportunity to present here in this esteemed forum today. So I'm sharing my slide. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So topic for today is therapeutic approach in perinatal counseling. And before going into therapeutic approaches, I feel because perinatal mental health is a new concept, though pregnancy is nothing new. It has been since decades that a woman and man used to marry and the woman used to conceive. But the mental health part of the woman during pregnancy and after childbirth has not gained attention of the public. So I'll be speaking about what is perinatal mental health first. Brief introduction about what all the issues which a woman faces during pregnancy, what the mental health of women, how it affects the mental health of the child also. And then we'll proceed for the therapeutic approaches. So what is perinatal mental health? So it is a woman's mental health and well-being during pregnancy and first year after the birth, like from the time a woman conceives till the time her child becomes 1 year old. This complete period of approximately 1 year, 9 months is known as perinatal period. And a woman goes through many physical, mental, emotional changes during this period. So that we need to take care of. So this includes mental illnesses which were existing before. The woman may be a known case of like anxiety or depression before pregnancy itself. Or she may develop some disorders, anxiety, depression, OCD for the first time during pregnancy or after giving birth to the baby. So what are the common perinatal mental illnesses? It is antenatal depression and anxiety. Antenatal means during pregnancy. So woman can have depression and anxiety when she is pregnant. Postnatal depression and anxiety, that is after the birth of the child. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Many a times the delivery part becomes traumatic experience for the woman. There is something bad happened, like lots of blood loss, or the BP shooted up and she has to take in for emergency cesareans and something happened, or some like she loses the baby in the situation. So she may have PTSD because of the trauma associated with pregnancy or delivery. Then bipolar disorders, postpartum psychosis. This is a very emergency situation wherein it may happen many weeks after the birth of the baby also, wherein the woman may have hallucinations and she may try to harm herself or the baby. So it is an emergency situation which needs immediate attention. A recurrence of any other existing mental illness, like she was one old case of anxiety or depression, she was almost healed, but then again these things reoccur during the pregnancy. OCD. Again, OCD becomes one of the important things during pregnancy because Women may have OCDs about things like whether she's taking care of the baby properly, or if she eats something, something will happen to the baby. And this thought can become a OCD for her. So what are the factors associated with increased risk of perinatal mental illness? So there are fear of unknown, especially if you're pregnant for the first time. What if you lose the baby? What if you have a miscarriage? What if I have a stillbirth? Especially if you have a history of previous stillbirth. Whether I will be able to be a good mother, will I be able to take care of household chores, or if I'm working, whether I will be able to manage everything. So there are so many thoughts and fears which develop anxiety in the woman. So this can be a cause of mental illnesses. Then sleeplessness, one very important factor. Women may not be able to get proper sleep during pregnancy also, because of, like, she may be vomiting all the time, she may have body aches, and towards the end of the pregnancy, the big belly puts pressure on the bladder, so she may have to go for frequent urination, so she may not be able to sleep properly. And after delivery, of course, she has to get up every 2 to 3 hours to feed the baby, to change the diaper of the baby, so she may not be able to get proper sleep, which can, of course, be distressing for the woman. Now, unexpected body changes. During pregnancy, the physical appearance of the woman changes, and everyone cannot take it in a positive manner. You put on lots of weight, your breast size increases, then many women develop butterfly marks on the cheeks, which may not be very like good looking. Then women develop stretch marks. So every woman cannot accept these things positively, and it can be a distressing situation for us. A very important thing, relationship with family and domestic violence. Researchers prove that it is one of the very important causes of perinatal mental illnesses. How your family is keeping you when you are pregnant, whether they are helping you or there is a history of violence, husband is a drunkard, he's coming and he's beating you, he's abusing you. This plays a very important role in the perinatal mental illnesses. Then changes in role. The woman till now, she was a wife, she was a sister-in-law, daughter-in-law. Now she is going to be a mother, which is a very important position in the life of any woman. So will she be able to be a good mother, and how this change will affect her relationship with her husband and her everybody present in the family. So it can be a distressing thought for the woman. Additional burden, of course, financial issues will raise, because during pregnancy, woman needs to be taken to hospital for checkups, many blood tests. Then they have to arrange for delivery, hospital stay bills, so many things. And then a new member is coming to your family, so it puts a financial burden on the family. And of course, health. Many a times, it's becoming common also. Women are suffering from diabetes. They were not diabetic, but they develop diabetes during pregnancy, known as gestational diabetes, and hypertension. Many times you have heard that her BP suddenly shooted up, everything was fine, but her BP shooted up. So these two disorders are becoming very common nowadays in pregnancy, and it's become a stressful situation for the whole family, because these directly affect the health of the mother and the baby. Now, shame if unwanted. Now, because the Western culture is prevailing more, so what happens, many times women get pregnant out of wedlock, and the boyfriend now refuses to marry you. And more worse, the girl was raped by someone and she got pregnant now. So there is a feeling of shame in carrying the baby. So it increases the mental distress. Then social restraints. There are so much of restraints which are put on the pregnant woman. You should not go there, you should not do this, you should not eat this, and so many things. So she may not be able to accept these restraints in a positive manner. Like for a simple example, there was a colleague of mine who said, after cesarean, my mother-in-law told me not to take baths for 1 week. And I was very uncomfortable because I could not stay without bathing. But she forced me not to take baths. So it was a simple thing, but it was distressing for the patient. Then addictions. If mother is addicted to alcohol, smoking, tobacco, chewing, it is not only harmful for the baby, but if the mother has to leave because she knows, okay, this thing will harm the baby, it may affect the mother also. A very common thing, mood swings during pregnancy. We often hear this thing. and it's perfectly normal. It's because of the hormonal changes that occur in the woman's body, and she may be overjoyed one time, and she may be second moment she's stressed or overwhelmed without any particular reason. It's very normal, and it's because of the hormones playing with the woman's body and mind. Now, coming in the postnatal period, that is after the birth of the baby. Very important thing, family and social support. Especially with the first baby, how family is supporting and taking care of the baby. Woman after delivery, she is weak, she cannot take care of herself, and she has to take care of the baby also. Now, if there is no social support or family support, she may be in distress because her body is already aching with pains, and the baby, of course, it needs care. I happen to be associated with a Facebook pregnancy group wherein many women, because we are a nuclear family nowadays, and they are staying with husbands away from their home, and nobody was able to reach on time, or nobody was there to come to help the woman. And they was like after normal delivery, second day, they were doing all household chores, they were looking after the baby, and they were doing everything on their own, which was of course a difficult situation for them. Then there are breastfeeding issues. There may be not enough milk to give to the baby, or there may be engorgement, or they don't know how to feed the baby properly, especially the new mothers. And again, being nuclear families, there is no one to teach you properly. So again, you face issues in feeding. And body aches and pains. Delivery, whether it is cesarean or normal, it leaves the body with lots of aches and pain for weeks. So, ignoring her pains, woman has to look after the child. So, it can be a distressing thing for her. Then, of course, sleeplessness, I've already explained. Nutrition and lack of knowledge in newborn care. There is lots of thoughts about what to eat, what not to eat, because we are feeding the child. There is so many things people say you should not eat because it will affect the baby's digestion also. So, and many women who stay alone cannot take care of their nutrition. So again, it's a thing. And lack of knowledge in newborn care. Of course, if it's the first baby, you don't know how to take care of the baby, and it can be distressing. Now, return to work. Very important question, especially nowadays. Most of the women are working. After delivery, when should you go back to work? What is best for the baby? Who will look after the baby? What about breastfeeding? And what about sleep, fatigue, and depression thing? Everything woman has to think before she starts working again. Now, okay, this slide I have just added to tell you about a concept known as pregnancy brain. Many times, especially towards the end of the pregnancy, women tend to forget things. She may not remember. She went to a room and she just forgets why she went there. And she may not remember, like she has told a story to her friend 10 minutes ago and she don't remember she has told or not. So this happens because of the hormonal changes which is affecting the brain of the woman. And there is no need to panic in it. Now I'll just show a certain statistics around the globe about perinatal mental health issues. Like this is a statistics from UK which says 20% of women develop mental health problems during pregnancy and 1 year after giving birth. And 1 in 10 women develop postnatal depression. 40% of women who have traumatic birth experience, they develop PTSD. And of course, suicide is one of the biggest cause of death for women during pregnancy and first year after the birth. This is a data from US which says 1 in 5 women suffers from maternal mental health disorders, but less than 15% women only receive treatment due to various reasons. 1 in 7 will experience depression during pregnancy. And most of the women who suffer 50% of these women are from poverty. So poverty plays a very important role in mental health. And not just moms, if the mother is affected, the whole family gets affected. And they've also mentioned that 1 in 10 dads also experience mental health disorders following the birth of the child. Now talking about our country, India, so we have, this is the data, antenatal CMD is 22%, PTSD 9%, perinatal depression 14 to 24%, and suicide rates are 7.6% in the perinatal period. Now many researchers feel that these data may not be absolutely right, because in India, there is underreporting of the situations. Now, how mother's mental health is affecting the baby in the womb? We are talking about two lives here. So that is why the perinatal mental health becomes more important, because it is associated with two life and ultimately the whole family. So research have proved that depression during pregnancy can lead to miscarriages, preterm births, and low birth weight. And of course, after the delivery of the child, in future, the child is more prone to develop ADHD, anxiety, depression, and socio-emotional problems. So the child which is born to such a mother is prone to developing mental health issues, and a vicious cycle will set in. Um, like this, okay, this slide I have just shown, wanted to show how stress affects the brain development of the baby. If the mother is stressed during pregnancy, she releases glucocorticoids and inflammatory hormones like IL-6, which directly affects the brain development of the baby. And the baby will be born with cognitive deficits, emotional deficits. So mother has to be relaxed during pregnancy. A few slides only about fathers also, because they are also important part of the family. And research have proved that the mental health of father also affects the baby. So some data first. 1 in 10 dads experience perinatal mental health disorders following birth of the child. And the chances increases from 24 to 50%. If the mother is already depressed, the chances of father being depressed increases to 24 to 50%. Now in men, anxiety is more common. Paternal anxiety, it is more common than depression. 4% to 16% men feel anxiety in prenatal period, and 2 to 18% in the postnatal period. And what can be the causes? Like one can say a man is not pregnant, he is not going any hormonal changes, then why he is becoming anxious? So first of all, there is feeling of unreality regarding the unborn child. The man can feel what the woman is saying. He cannot feel it himself inside his body. So he may not be like attached to the baby from day one, like how women used to be. So this unreality feeling can be a reason of anxiety for the men. Then a perceived disequilibrium in the relationship with their partners. Of course, a lot of things changes after the woman conceives. The relationship, how they will take care of the baby, how they bring up the baby, everything. They may have opinion differences and things, and it can disrupt the equilibrium in their relationship. Formation of parental identity. Of course, now from the role of partner, he is going to be a parent. That can, because it's a responsible thing. So he has to be, this thought may raise anxiety in the father. Increase responsibility, financial issues, how you are going to manage through the delivery, to take care of the baby, and this incidence increases if the wife is also mentally unwell. Now, these are few researchers which just I mentioned to show that Ramchandani et al. In 2008 has researched that children whose fathers are depressed in the prenatal and postnatal period, they are at high risk of psychopathology at 3.5 years and psychiatric diagnosis at the age of 7 years. Again, Fletcher et al. In 2011 said that hyperactivity in boys and emotional and social development in girls are sensitive to their father's mental health. So, father's mental health also during the time when wife was pregnant and childbirth is also very important. So this was what I wanted to tell about perinatal mental health and its effects on the whole family. So now talking about the therapeutic approaches. So yesterday our speakers have spoken about psychotherapy. There are many therapies available. These few therapies I have mentioned, these are evidence-based therapies which have proved their efficacy in treating perinatal mental illnesses. So these are ITT, interpersonal psychotherapy, cognitive behavior therapy, that is CBT, group therapy, family therapy, and acceptance and commitment therapy. So what is IPT? This is a structured time-limited therapy. Generally 15 to 12 to 16 sessions are there, which focuses on improving the interpersonal relationships and alleviating mood symptoms. And it focuses primarily on 4 areas, that is grief or loss, role disputes, role transitions, and interpersonal deficits. So how it is helpful in perinatal mental health. First area was grief and loss. Like a woman may have miscarriage, stillbirth, she loses the baby, or she's not able to conceive. Every time she conceives, she aborts the baby. So these can be distressing situations. So IPT has been proved beneficial in treating women with such grief and loss. Then role transition, of course, it is a very big reason of anxiety for both the parents. So IPT helps in moving smoothly through the role transitions. Interpersonal disputes, of course, pregnancy may disrupt the harmony between husband and wife. So these conflicts are taken care by IPT. Then interpersonal deficits. Because of lack of social support nowadays, because of the modern generation, we are more into our gadgets than speaking slowly or meeting socially or meeting socially. So there is a social isolation which is taking place, and this becomes a big reason for perinatal anxiety and depression during pregnancy, because woman has no one to speak about her issues. So this increases the perinatal distress. So what all the therapies which are used in IPT? One is psychoeducation. This is basically therapist teaches the client and equips them with the coping methods to how to deal with their emotions and thoughts. Communication analysis, since it's basically IPT focuses on the relationship issues, and communication is a very important thing in maintaining good relationships. So therapist and client work together to find out where is the problem in the communication area, and then they try to sort out that problem. Role play, of course, in role play you can act like the other partner, wherein you will be able to understand what was the motive of the partner behaving in a manner, and it may bring harmony in your relationship. Exploration of options and decision analysis, like you can explore options, what are the options available for your problem, and you can decide on which is the best option for you. Socialization and pleasurable activities, it forms groups where you can socialize and you can learn things. And what are the benefits? It improves relationship, enhances emotional well-being, increases self-awareness, lowers the risk of relapse, and improves the coping strategies of the individual. So next therapy is CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. So it is basically a talk therapy which focuses on thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. CBT says that your thoughts affect your feelings and affects your behavior. So it basically works by changing your thought pattern and thus changing your behavior. So here I have put in an example which will make it more clear. Like if there is a situation wherein you have experienced a massive setback in your goal. Now you can have two types of thought, one negative and one positive. What happens if there is a negative thought? I am a failure. I am not cut out for this. I might as well stop trying. So this will give negative thought, will give you a negative feeling of hurt, incompetence, discourage, and humiliation. And in turn, what your behavior will be, you will withdraw, you'll shut down, or you'll give up on the goal. But at the same time, if thought was positive, like failing is at this one thing does not define my worth or competency, I have my strengths that I can focus on. So this positive thought will develop a positive feeling of hopeful, confidence, worthiness, and competence. And what your behavior will be, you will try harder to achieve your goals. So this is how your thought affects your feelings and behavior. So what are the therapies which are used by CBT? It is cognitive reframing or restructuring. This can be as an example of restructuring, like we try to change your negative thoughts into neutral or positive thoughts. That is known as cognitive reframing. ABC technique, which is very famous technique of CBT. It is used to do cognitive reframing. Then guided discovery. Guided discovery with the help of therapists, you try to discover unhelpful thoughts and then try to change those thoughts. Journaling and thought recording. This is generally given as homework for the client to record their thoughts. Exposure therapy. You are gradually exposed to the fears of your life. Behavioral experiments. These experiments are again exposure to your fears of life in the real environment situation. Activity scheduling, you plan and activities which give pleasure to you, and like on a calendar, you like every Sunday I like gardening, so okay, every Sunday for 1 hour I will be doing gardening. So that is activity scheduling. stress reduction techniques like PMR, and role playing. Again, role playing can help you understand the concept of other person. Now, how it helps in perinatal mental health? First of all, it identifies the triggers. What are the situations or thoughts that are unhealthy or harmful for the woman or the couple? Then they try to change these negative thought patterns, and then they teach the client coping skills. And this brings a behavioral change in the mood, and thus the client feels happy. Second is group therapy. It is a form of psychotherapy wherein more than one therapist, one or more therapists can work with 2 or more clients. Generally, 5 to 15 clients. Groups are made of 5 to 15 clients, and they can meet weekly for 1 hour or two. And it fosters a supportive environment for sharing experience. Both CBT and IPT uses group therapies also. Now how group therapies help, it gives you a feeling that you are not alone. It gives you peer support. It validates the struggles of people, that they are not struggling alone, others are also there. So it gives a sense of comfort to them. And it teaches coping strategies. People share how they have coped with certain situations, and they teach self-care strategies. So this is helpful. And then skill development, like taking care of the baby, how to take care of self during pregnancy. The group discusses among themselves, and this all things improve the mental health outcome of the woman during pregnancy. And it is proved that group therapies are very significant in reducing depressive symptoms and anxiety in women. Nowadays, gynecologists are making WhatsApp group also, wherein women can chat with each other whenever they need. They can ask suggestions from the other members of the group. Now, family therapy. Since pregnancy is a time when the family has to be involved, particularly to take care of the woman. So, family therapy is also a type of therapy which improves relationship and communication within the family system. It enhances communication skills among the members, and it helps by addressing recurring issues like financial problems, marital issues, and behavioral changes. So again, how it helps? It tries to improve the communication between the family members and teach them how to take care of the pregnant lady, to understand her emotions. So this helps in perinatal mental health. Last therapy is acceptance and commitment therapy, wherein psychological flexibility is improved by accepting your difficult thoughts and to take actions which are aligned with the values of your life rather than avoiding them. That is, you have to accept your negative emotions, and then you have to find a worth or activity which is worth your value. This I skip because I'm running short of time. No, okay. Just a tip how to keep yourself happy in pregnancy. Surround yourself with positive people. Practice yoga and meditation. Take time for activities which make you happy. Do journaling, and remember to take deep breaths to calm down yourself. So there are various types of emotions which a woman faces during pregnancy. She has to take care of these emotions by meditation, yoga, going for walk, and taking plenty of sleep. These are some signs like feeling of worthlessness, long bouts of intense sadness, losing interest in everything, intrusive thoughts you cannot control, repetitive behavior, panic attacks, thoughts about suicide, difficulty sleeping, loss of appetite, intense fear about giving birth. These signs may suggest that you need the help of a therapist. Which in a small word, WHO has also recognized the importance of perinatal mental health. So in 2022, they have released a guide which says that they have all the countries have to integrate maternal and child health services with perinatal mental health. So therein, we are training our Anganwadi workers who are already taking care of maternal and child health program to take care of the mental health of the woman during pregnancy. So I'll close by saying, learn positive ways to release your emotions during pregnancy so you can enjoy this important part of your life. Don't let anyone take away your happiness while you're growing a baby. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anupa, for a wonderful presentation as always. And you are the Director of Perinatal Mental Health Services. And we have most of the young adults here who will be soon entering into this phase where they will be parents. So this is going to be very, very helpful to them. Thank you very much for an enlightening session. Over to you, Sneha. Any doubt, anybody in between?
Ma'am,
If
I
you
do have one.
Yes, please go ahead, Riya.
Yeah, I'll just brief one case. So, ma'am, recently I have a chance to meet someone, and she recently gave birth to a child 2 months before. And what happened was she was dealing with depression after the birth, and due to that, so basically she wanted a boy, and it was a girl, which lead to depression after the childbirth, and then she tried to kill the child. So, and then all the legalities came into picture, and she got arrested for the same. But ma'am, when she got arrested, and not arrested, like the legalities came and the family put on the case on her. So, ma'am, she said that, and after 2 days, the reports of her depression came out, and it was chronic depression. And ma'am, then she got pardoned from the activities that she did. So will that come out as a defense for her that having depression can promote her to kill a child? Will that come out as a defense to her?
See, what actually happens, yes, we have in our constitution, if a person is suffering from some mental health disorder, and in that condition, if they are committing any crime, so that mental health situation is do taken care of, and they have to get treated for the mental health condition first. So it is actually, it affects the, like they cannot be held responsible like a normal person who is mentally healthy and who is committing crime, because he is not mentally healthy, that's why they are committing that crime. So this has to be taken into consideration.
But ma'am, the reason was we later found out that the reason was not because of the fact that she had depression. The reason that there was a girl and she wanted a boy. So
This
wasn't it?
itself, in our country, there is lots of pressure on a woman to have a boy child, and this pushes the woman into depression after having girl child. So you have to first find out whether she was really depressed of having a girl child, and she did it out of depression, or she didn't had any depression and she just did it like in a normal mindset. That has to be ruled out.
I would
Okay,
like to
thank
answer
you so
this
much.
question. I would like to answer this question, rather add on what Anupa has just mentioned. See, after pregnancy, the moment a lady delivers, right? The moment a lady delivers, the hormonal rush, which was earlier before delivery, immediately she comes back to normal. So it is a shock to the female's body, right? So every lady goes through postpartum blues. There is a term known as postpartum blues. Now these postpartum blues stays for 3 to 4 days. Okay, after 3 to 4 days, it is still persisting. That means it is a postpartum depression. It's clear cut. It's postpartum depression. Postpartum depression can go into postpartum psychosis also. So whatever the lady has done is not in her full senses. It is 100%. It is 100% because this is not the first case. There are many cases which have been reported, documented, and we have also seen in our life. Correct? So it is similar kind of situation of inflicting pain to your own self. You are delivering a baby, whether it is normal delivery or it is cesarean, only who is hurt? Who is hurt physically? The lady. The lady is suffering physically. The lady is suffering emotionally. So the lady would not want the child to die. The lady would never expect anything bad for the child because the lady has transformed into a mother. It's like you cannot cut even your finger. You cannot remove even small little pinky finger from your hand. It's like that. If someone is doing it, that means you are not in the right state. And physiologically, the lady definitely never is never in the correct physiological state after delivery. It takes time to come back. It takes at least 3 to 6 months to come back to the normal state. And when I'm saying normal state, both physiologically, physically, as well as emotionally, because all the hormonal system has, it goes for a 6, right? So this is something which has
Yes,
happened
ma'am.
either because of postpartum psychosis or postpartum depression.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Over to you, Sneha.
All right,
Just
ma'am.
I
Any more
want to
questions?
add what Deepika ma'am said.
Yes.
Being a mother, I have myself delivered two babies, and I know the kind of psychological difficulties that we face. Although there was support from the family, but still, you know, nobody as a mother can even think of uh, harming their child. You want to put yourself under death when you are delivering a child. Your own life is toned. Your body tones when you deliver a baby. It's losing your real self and going through all that difficulty and pain. It's not just one day, it's 9 months, and post that maybe it takes another 1 or 2 years to come back to your senses and really function like a woman you have lost in the process of becoming a mother. So although there are joys of becoming mother, but at the same time there is a lot of trauma, physical, mental, and you need lot of care. And I personally experienced that that is a time when you really need the love of your partner, the love and care of your family members. And if anything one is missing, you are pushed into down into dumps. Really, believe me that I have experienced it. And moreover, if the family which is supposed to give you care and concern is giving you any kind of uh, more added trauma, that you have not delivered a son because the expectation is to have a son, and that adds fuel to the fire, believe me. And it is not the lady who's supposed to be blamed to harm the child. You have to study the whole family, the relatives who have put her into that condition. Please remind my words. It's not she. It's the kind of psychological pressure that she's made to do it. Maybe she has done it, but she has been pushed to do it. Believe me. Okay? Thank you.
Uh, I think it's a very much evidence of the success of Anupa's session, because when our audience is opening up, sharing the experience, and asking the question, congratulations, Anupa, for such a wonderful session. And because everybody's touched and everybody is thinking about it. God bless you, Anupa. Keep on doing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing
Ma'am,
your knowledge.
ma'am, I'd like to add one more thing, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, please ask.
Yeah, I'm Meera, myself Meera, doing research on childbirth only. I'll, I'm a mother of 4 kids, and actually, as per my experience, I can surely say that pregnancy and delivery is not a painful act. It's actually pleasurable. It's but the society and the media has built a scenario like it is painful, an emergency, or not a call. Like they keep on building that situations like they made it like so traumatic and stressful. So as psychologists, we all it's our duty to tell the public that it's not so painful and our lifestyle is correct, the process is correct, then definitely it will be a pleasurable experience only. That uh, delivery itself is life risking, it's painful. That thing we have to take it off from the people's mind. Thank you. Your session is excellent. You understood all the, I mean, you expressed all the pains of the pregnant women. Thank you.
Any more question?
Um, but I disagree with you, Meera. Matlab, that's your personal experience. What my observations and my experience is just contradictory to that. It's really difficult and traumatic. I gave birth to two children and I have met many women, many. I can give you research on that. Maybe I can write papers on it. It's
Dr.
difficult.
Shama,
Yes.
Dr. Shama, this is the reason we have formulated a course known as Perinatal Mental Health Practitioner course for
Yes,
psychologists,
ma'am. Yes.
social workers, because few of you will say or will accept what you are saying. Few of us will accept what Meera is saying. There are few of us which are in between. It is not only pregnancy, these are the childhood experiences, these are the marital experiences, this is how you have conceived, how you have delivered, and the environment. Everything holistically
True.
affects the perinatal mental health of the lady. And
True.
once the perinatal mental health goes for a 6, it is for sure that the client is going to suffer with one or the other psychological issue, right? So what do we need to do? We need to take care of this perinatal period very nicely.
Absolutely.
So for this
Absolutely.
reason, we have created a certification. Whosoever is interested can enroll in that. It is now we are doing this certificate course with BS Negi College, Uttarakhand, and it is AICTE approved. Over to you, Sneha, and please call the next speaker.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nupa ma'am, for sharing your knowledge. Your session was a great reminder that a mother's mental health is just as important as her child's well-being. Our mothers have gone through so much for us, from giving us life to shaping who we are with their love, sacrifices, and endless care. No matter how much we do, we can never truly repay them. But we can start by being a little more grateful every day. So, my question to the participants is that what is one thing you have always wanted to say to your mother but never got the chance? You can drop your answers in the chat. Now, let's move on to our next speaker, Dr. Nidhi Verma, a psychologist, clinical hypnotherapist, and an associate professor at Amity University, Gurgaon. Ma'am will be highlighting about personality assessment through T data measures, a method that helps us understand personality beyond words and observation. So let's dive into this interesting topic. Dr. Nidhi Verma, over to you.
Thank you, Sneha. I hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
All right. Thank you, Sneha, for my introduction, and thank you, Speakingcube, for giving me the platform so that I can share my views on personality assessment. Just give me a second. Let me share my slide and then I'll start.
Sure, ma'am.
Fine then. Okay. Is my slide visible or not?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Fine. But give me some more time. I just need to see all of you also. Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. So, yeah, my topic is personality assessment through T data measures. So whenever we, talk about personality assessment, the first thing which comes in our mind is, yes, we can assess, personality through questionnaires, right? I hope, this is the only thing which comes in our mind. And I'm sharing this
slides, or I'm sharing this topic particularly for budding researchers, because I can see so many students are also sitting over here, and those who are going to start their research. So this is, going to be helpful for them, I believe. So the first thing which comes in our mind is, yes, we all know what is personality assessment. There are so many questionnaires. There are thousands and thousands of questionnaires which are available, right? But have you ever thought about whether questionnaires are objective in real sense? Have you ever thought about it? I do not know whether you guys have ever thought about it, but yes, when I was starting my journey in psychology, I was in 11th standard. At that time only, I used to think that these questionnaires, are they going to are they going to understand me? Are there, is it totally objective test or objective tools for personality assessment? This was going through my mind, and when I started doing research, finally in my PhD, then I thought, no, I would be working and I would be trying to find out whether questionnaires are more objective, or is there any other better tools which are more objective, which are non-fakeable. So let's talk about this very topic, personality assessment through T data measures. So in my presentation, I'll be talking about what exactly is T data measures. Then I'll also be talking about pioneers in the area of T data measures. I'll be talking about researchers across the globe in this area, because there are very few researchers in this particular area, and research in India on this very topic. And then I'll be talking about background of this topic and recent researches in this particular area. I'll be sharing examples of T data measures and some books on this particular topic. One of the book I have also written. So I want to share this very particular topic for my budding researchers, my students, and all those who want to understand more about assessment of personality, and what are the different tools which are available, right? So let us see what exactly is T data. So T data basically refers to objective, non-fakeable laboratory type test or miniature situation in which a person is placed in standard situation and allowed to respond, and his behavior is being recorded or scored for aspect which he is not aware. So in cut short, T data is non-fakeable kind of test. It is more objective. How it is more objective? Like, for example, we all have seen questionnaires. It is objective. Definitely, we all are psychologists sitting over here, and we all are working on questionnaires. And the budding researchers, they are still very enthusiastic in developing more and more questionnaires. But is it really objective? No, not many limitations are there. Faking can be there on the part of the subject, although it is objective on the part of the examiner, but we cannot rule out faking on the part of the subject. But this T data is very genuinely it is controlling, and it is totally non-fakeable, because neither on the part of the examiner nor on the part of the subject it can be faked. So let us see more about it. Is my slide available? Is my slide visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Somehow yeah, okay, all right. Fine then. Let us see all the contributors who have contributed immensely in this particular area. So we all are aware about R.B. Kettle. He is the pioneer in the area of T data measure, or pioneer in the area of personality. We all know. So Kettle has developed 500 objective tests. 500. Are we aware about it? Some of my students would be aware about it, but it maybe not. We all are aware about it. And these 500 objective test measures 2366 variables. That is 2,366 variables, right? So it means one test of cattle, one test of T data measures 6 to 8 different aspects, right? And that too very objectively. That we'll be discussing in the next coming slides. Followed by G.J. Boylan. He is an active researcher in T data measures. He's from Australia. You can go and check his website. You can find Google Scholar, his Google Scholar. He has worked immensely after Cattle's demise. He's still working on this particular area, followed by K.D. Kubinger. He is from Germany. What he has done, which has not been done previously, is he has developed computerized personality assessment tools. Computerized. Till now, we are aware about paper and pencil test. Still, till date, in 2025 also, we all are using paper and pencil questionnaires. But he has done some advancement and he has developed computerized objective tools. And I'll be sharing his work also in coming slides. And in India, the research which has been done on T-data measure is by me. And the title of my area was Investigation of T-data Personality Factors Among Indian Subjects. So I wanted to understand whether these are really objective or not. And I worked on this particular area. I compared questionnaires with these T-data measures, and then I also have published one book in this particular area, because I think it is my duty as a teacher to share this particular area of T-data, which is not very popular, right, among my students and my fellow colleagues. So let us see by the next slides. So let us have a look. Most of the researches in this particular area has been done in US by R.P. Kettle and his colleagues, most of the researches, and that is too long time back. And the recent researchers are, as I shared in my previous slides, are G.J. Boyle and K.D. Kubinger. They are from Australia and Germany respectively. They are very well working on this particular area post-demise of R.P. Kettle. And in India, I have done our work, but that is, of course, not to the level of these two researchers, because this is such a, what I can say, intense work that it needs a lot of time, lot of manpower. Not one person can do this. A lot of efforts and time is required. So anyways, let us have a look onto the basic core part of this particular area. So the experimental phase of personality study began in 20th century, but the real momentum it gained around in 1960s by the work of Allport, when type approaches and all other approaches were criticized and trait approach came into existence. And this was the work of Allport then was carried out by R.P. Kettle, and he has worked immensely in this particular area. So have a look at what exactly it is. We have to understand the history of personality in order to understand what exactly is T-data. So when earlier, these days we all are using questionnaires, but it is not like that, earlier when questionnaires were not there, at that time, researchers in the area of personality, they used to, follow some other method that is called as life record data or L data, right? L data is the abbreviation, and life record data. What is life record data? That we'll be discussing. Followed by questionnaires. When life data was criticized, questionnaires came into existence, and till date we somehow are using questionnaires. But it was again criticized by Kettle himself, and then he developed 500 objective tests. Now we have to see what exactly is life record data or L data, right? So L data is what? It is basically observations by the psychologist, and L data is again of two kinds, right? So what are the two kinds? The first is called as LR data, and the second is called as LBR data. What it is, or what is the difference between these two? So LR data is when we gather the information about the subject from school records, court records, how many cases are there, hospital records, how many times the subject has visited hospital due to illnesses or due to any accidents. This is called as LR data. Psychologists used to gather information from LR data. And LBR data, what is that? When psychologists used to gather information about the subject from their known, like from parents, siblings, friends, teachers, etc. So it was one of the way which Cattell restricted himself to measure or to assess personality through the help of parents, siblings, friends, teachers, etc. But do you think if we are going to take, some information from parents, they are going to give us accurate information? No, because parents will be positively biased. Siblings will be mostly positively biased, but if there is some rivalry, as we all know that there can be some sibling rivalry, so they can also mislead us. Friends can either be positive or negative, and teachers, they can also be positively or negatively biased. So because of these things, Cattell himself criticized that this is not the right way of understanding or assessment of personality. Let us, develop certain questions which the subject has to answer. Because of all these, work on L data, questionnaires came into existence. And the first questionnaire which was developed was 16PF. And we all are aware about 16PF. We still are using 16PF, right? So there is a long process how it was developed. So I will not be sharing all the statistical analysis which was done, because today's topic or today's focus was on only T data. So we all are aware about questionnaires. We all have seen questionnaires, that there are certain statements and options are given of yes and no, right? Yes or no? I hope so, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why today I'm not able to see myself. Okay, fine. Okay. So I have to do my presentation like this because I cannot see myself. I can see only the slides. Anyways, if you find that, I'm not visible or my slides are not visible, just be audible, because I cannot see the slides, neither I can see any one of you. Anyways, let us continue. So questionnaires, we all know statements are there, certain options are there, but there are a lot of limitations. And then because of those limitations, T data came. Now we have to, understand what are the limitations. So I am skipping this research part, and I want to just share because we all are aware also about it, but still we are ignoring it. Despite of knowing that questionnaires have limitation, still we all are using it because we believe that these are the only tools and we have to use it. No, these are not the only tools. The problem is it became so popular that we are not even thinking about that there can be something else also which we can think about. Anyways, what are the limitations? Social desirable responses. People are hesitant and they don't want to share their own, personality, and as a result, right, they give social desirable responses. Another thing which is another kind of bias is subject can prepare mental set, like first two on right, another two on no, and then right, and then no. And they can complete this questionnaire like that. And the very important thing is that we all know that we know ourselves in the better way or in the best way. No, there are, some people, they do not know themselves. We all do not know each and everything about ourselves because there are so many things which is there in the unconscious. So it is also one of the, reason of biasness. Another biasness or another kind of biasness in questionnaires are sometimes questions are ambiguous, like different subjects are going to interpret the same statements differently. So do you think we are going to, be on very same level in the assessment of all the people's personality? No. And not many other, one of the major, what I can say limitation what I used to think when I was in 11th standard, that these questionnaires have proper name, 16PF, 16 personality factor, BDI, Beck depression inventory. So I used to think at that moment that, oh, if it is going to tell us the name, of course, I will not be going to reveal what I'm, what I am feeling, because it is going to assess my depression. It is going to assess my anxiety. It is going to assess my XYZ thing. So this is a major drawback, and which is ruled out by T data. In T data, there is no naming such as such. There is only coding given, and that these codes have been assigned or have been this work of coding and all the development of T data is done by R.B. Kettle. So he's, he was so, what I can say, wise enough to rule out all the limitations. So T data has the codings, and for measuring different variables, super codings, minute codings, so many codings are there. And it is there available in Compendium, which is developed by Kettle and is one of the coding. So what exactly is T data? Let us have a look. It is a miniature kind of a situation which is given to the subject, and the subject has to respond, and his behavior is stored on an aspect of which subject is not aware. So when the subject is not aware, definitely he will be honest. The questions are developed like that. I'll be showing you in coming slides. So these tests are of various kinds. There are group administered tests also. There are individual administered tests also, right? Okay. Now, as I discussed earlier, that he has developed 500 objective tests, which measures 2366 variables. So what this test measures? It measures ability factors, that is the factor of intelligence, which is also the part of personality. When we think about intelligence, we believe that it is something separate from personality. No, it cannot be separate from personality. How we perceive, how we interpret, how we behave, how we respond, it definitely, requires intelligence, right? And it is definitely part of our personality. So it measures ability factors, it measures temperamental factors, and it also measures dynamic factors. When I say dynamic means what? Dynamic means motivation. We all, if for example, we all are having IQ, we all are intelligent enough, right? But do you think that we all are same on the motivational level? We may be same on IQ level. But we are not exactly same on the motivational level. So Kettle's test, T data, also measures motivational aspect, whether we are highly motivated or not so highly motivated, whether we are high on intrinsic motivation or high on extrinsic motivation, right? So these are also part of one's personality, which Kettle has tapped in his Compendium and in his T data measures. Now his Compendium categorizes these tests into 12 categories. So there are 12 kinds of 500 objective tests, as I was discussing about ability test, which measures intelligence, performance test, which you all have seen if you are the students of psychology. What are the performance tests? Questionnaires kind also to compare with other kinds of tests. Opinionaire, projective test. I have written here in block, but his test is also similar kind. Projective test, situational test. Certain games are there by Kettle, which are so interesting, but we have to follow the guidelines of Kettle work. Then some physiological tests, which are there, EG, GSR, fMRI, to what I can say, to compare with all other tests. Why it is necessary? It is necessary because sometimes, because human mind is so complex, people can, if not they are faking, but they can at least choose not to respond. If there are people who are not responding, we cannot conclude that they are less in intelligence. What we can do, we can clarify the doubt by using different kinds of physiological tests. Then aesthetic test, perceptual test, physical test, some observations. These are all combined in one Compendium, and they are so interesting that I believe that budding researchers, they should follow, they should at least read it once, and they should start working on this, because very few researchers are there, and that is why we all are bound to use questionnaires, because not many people are working on this. So have a look at this slide. Give me a second. Let me just see. Can I see? Okay, fine. Have a look at this slide. So these are some of the examples of T data measures. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, right. So have a look towards my left side. The coding is given, that is T42. So as I said earlier, Names are not mentioned. Only coding is there, T42. Okay. Then MI. MI stands for what? MI is master index. Master index means T42 measures this particular variable, which is coded as 379. Similarly, there can be T42, 378, 342, 376, 342, 360, and all. Because one test of objective analytic test measures 6 to 8 variables. I have only given one example, but because compendium I cannot show right now here, and it's not available in maximum universities of India. It's very few places it is available. I have the photocopy. So anyways, I'm just sharing you what it exactly looks. So the coding is there, T42, which measures the variable numbered as 379. So what it measures, it is a test of mazes, which has to be what I can say completed by using pencil, and faster speed and higher accuracy. This particular MI, this particular variable measure the reaction time as well as the accuracy in maze. The factor is called as 16, UI16, that I will show you in my next slide. And then T60, the variable is 20A, and what it is measuring, private information, confidential information. So what this test is all about, I can just share or just tell you by my words only, because I have not shared how it looks like. And there is, as such, this test is like, the examiner has to give the subject one paper, and in that paper, some information needs to be written by the subject, like the name, the age, the class, or the address, and put his signature. So by giving this, no person can in this world can fake. Why? Because it's going to reveal all the things which are already available, and the only thing which they can do is that we do not give our consent. That is okay if they do not give their consent, that we are not going to administer the test on them. But if the consent is there, from only this much of information, we can find out so many other things which is mentioned in the compendium. What we can find out? So in that particular paper, we need to keep carbon copy, and after the carbon copy, we have to place one white sheet, and then what is going to be revealed? We can see the pressure of handwriting. We can see so many other aspects. We have to record the timings also. Yes, I forgot to mention. These T data are so useful because all the tests are of very small duration. Like the biggest test of T data is of 12 minutes, and the smallest test is of 15 seconds, right? So here the timings are not mentioned. So we have to see the timing, in how much time he has computed this small information. We have to see the pressure. Pressure means what? According to Kettle, more the pressure in writing in this information, higher will be the anxiety. Okay. And similarly, there are other interpretations also, which are already mentioned, which we cannot. Why I'm saying it is more objective, because we cannot fake. We even do not know what this test can measure. There are 6 to 8 things which this test can measure according to Kettle. Then the next is T93, 865 is the master index, that is called as MI. Name choosing, unconventionality, personal taste in name. So we have to ask them to write names, and by analyzing their answers, we have to see the compendium of Kettle, and then we can find out how much unconventional or conventional the subject is in his or her life. So these are the examples. Now you have a look at this. The name of this test is T2. It is given in the compendium. I'm just showing you. Some instructions are given, and have a look at on the right side. The time is mentioned. So everything is mentioned. We just have to follow the guidelines of R.B. Kettle, and then you can see this test is of 4 minutes. The name is mentioned for you people. The name is Gestalt closure, incomplete pictures. Okay. So the subject has to be given instruction, and the subject will write down whatever comes in his mind. So we have to record the time also. Also, we have to see what we can see from this test. We can see the creativity. We can see some unusual answers. Why these unusual answers are there? There will be some common answers. There will be some unusual answers. So it has to be interpreted according to the Kettle's compendium. The next example is of mazes, right? The time you can see is of 1 minute, right? There are
Ma'am,
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think slides are not moving. Yeah.
Slides are not moving. Is it moving now?
Yes.
Please do tell me, because as I said, I don't know why I cannot see myself. Okay, and I can see only my slides. Fine. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Please, Sneha, do audible, because I cannot
Yes, ma'am.
see. Right. Fine. Is it audible? Is it visible also?
Yes, ma'am. You are on slide 21, right?
Slide 21. I can see the mazes is there, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I will. Have you seen this particular slide? Have you seen this particular slide earlier?
No, ma'am.
No, oh, sorry. I was talking about this only in my earlier slides. Okay. So I believe you people were listening, and I was talking about this particular test of Gestalt measures, and there are a lot many instructions or interpretations which can be analyzed by using Cattell's compendium. And the next is of maze. I was talking about maze because there is a limitation of time. I want to cover that. Okay, so maze is, as you can see, time is only 1 minute. 1 minute, you can see how much time has to be allotted for one maze. So this particular test of maze is going to help us in understanding many things, like intelligence level, like reaction time, like hand dexterity, whether there is trembling in the hand or not, whether instructions are followed timely or properly or not, whether the subject is able to complete this test, because it is time bound test, right? So from one test of T data, I believe no one in this world can fake on this. Yes, I hope so. No one in this world can fake this test, unlike questionnaires, right? So everyone is going, these are interesting also. So everyone is going to use these tests. Everyone is going to, enjoy these tests, as well as there is these are totally non-fakeable kind of tests for the examiners as well as for the subjects. Unlike questionnaires. In questionnaires, the examiner is, totally unbiased, because we have the scoring keys available, and we have to put all the keys, whether it is of A subject, B subject, C subject, right? But subject can fake, so it is not totally objective. T datas are totally objective, right? So I'm moving to the next slide. Is the slide moving now?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So these are the naming of all those T data tests, which I am skipping. And if somebody needs more information, I will be sharing, not the slides, but I will have to give some more information. Otherwise, it's very difficult to understand. Anyways, so what is the conclusion of this is, thus the T data measures, if used appropriately, can be utilized in the fields of applied psychology, can be utilized in clinical, for understanding clinical abnormalities, in educational setting also, in occupational setting also, and in social psychology. These tests can also be used to assess general competence and specific personality makeup for army personas. Why? Because in army personas, we definitely use certain tests, and these are projective tests. That is too good. But these, apart from all those projective tests, these tests can also be used. Okay. So NAP in 1962 has reported that personality traits highly associated with general competence are assertiveness, independence, exuberance, cortesia, cortical alertness. These are the certain what I can say test which can be utilized in the recruitment processes to find out which who all are the people who can be what I can say recruited for army, recruited for some other leadership jobs. So in social and organizational psychology, T data measures can be more useful. In organizational psychology, why? Because in MNCs, not many people are using questionnaires, but again, questionnaires are fakeable, unlike T data. So T data measures can be more useful in the assessment of the leadership qualities, confirmatory behavior, organizational commitment, if it is there or not, burnout, people are high on burnout or not, decision making, pro-social behavior, etc. So hence, if we involve ourselves more in understanding of T data measures, it will be more useful and objective in real sense, and we will be able to understand one's personality more objectively without any faking. All right. So, but the point is, are these available? Are these tests available? Yeah, the lot much research has to be done till date. These are available, but still, how to get access of it? These are the questions. Is it why it is not available? Because it is not getting popularity. Why it is not getting popularity? Because not many researchers are working on that. So it is in the stage where not many researchers should think about what advancements are there and why we are using questionnaires when better tools are available. And these tools needs to get what I can say, more popularity, but this has to be done if we start working on that. It is still on, not very well, what I can say, not popular, because not many are working on that. Some researchers are working on that. They have developed these tests, but then again, it has to gain a lot of validity, because people have to start working on these T data in order to understand its importance, and in order to understand whether they are working in their culture or not. So anyways, so this is my book. I hope the slide is visible and you all can see. This is the book which I have published in 2019, and I wanted to everyone to please have a look at it, because whatever research work was there, whatever points I have discussed with you, I have tried to what I can say, incorporate many other things as well. And this is the book which is handbook, the Sage Handbook of Personality Assessment. It is edited by Boyle and fellow colleagues. So this is what I can say, the handbook or the Gita of personality assessment, because it immense work, lot much detailed work of T data is available in this particular book. And these are the paper, as I was discussing, that Kubinger has been working in this particular area, and he has developed computerized tests. What kind of tests are there? I believe my scholars are sitting over there, or students are sitting over there. In my classes also, I tell everyone to please go and check what kind of work they are doing, so that you also can start thinking about this very topic, and then we can collaborate also with these researchers, because we in India are not sufficient enough to conduct this study. It's a massive study, so we can take definitely help of these fellow researchers, and they are quite friendly, because during my research time I have discussed few things and they were quite helpful. So this is my request to all the students to please start thinking about this very topic. So another, this is one of the paper, and it is published in the Wiley Encyclopedia of Personality and Individual Differences, Models and Theories. So if you are going to read this, why I'm showing this, at least I want all of you to go through these papers. At least if you read the abstract, it will definitely help in understanding what this test is all about. And I have also written few research papers. This is written by me in 2014, and this is the easiest most papers if you want to understand this very topic of T data. This is the most easiest paper, unlike other papers. What I can say, the difficulty level of those researchers are definitely high, and it takes a lot of time in order to understand their papers. But for my students, I thought, at that time I was student only, and I wrote this paper so that people can at least go through this and understand what is the role of objective analytic test battery. I have written some other papers also, but I have not pasted over here in this slide. So this is what I wanted to cover today. And yeah, that's all. I hope that I'm able to make all of my students and scholars understand the importance of objective tests compared to the questionnaires. All the questionnaires, they have its utility. I am not denying, and no one can deny the importance of questionnaires. But when there are other tools, and when there is a lot of good work which has been done by pioneers like R.B. Kettle and other researchers, it's a moral duty for all the budding researchers. It's a moral duty for me as a teacher that I should at least tell this very topic. So it is up to all of us whether we want to go in that direction or whether we want to stick on the questionnaires. Right. Thank you so much. And that is what I wanted to share through my slides. And it's on a very brief level because of time. It's a long work. How questionnaires were developed and all, it's a long work. But anyways, we can discuss in some other time. Thank you so much.
So much, Dr. Nidhi. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, ma'am.
Such a wonderful presentation, and we have in this particular conference we have a lot of PhD scholars and master students, so definitely it is very helpful for all of them, and obviously to all of us also. And thank you so much for such a wonderful treat.
Thank you.
Over to
Thank you,
you,
Dr.
Sneha.
Deepika. Thank you, Sneha. Thank you, everyone else. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Wonderful, wonderful, Nidhi ma'am. Very nice.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for highlighting the use of T measures. And it's fascinating to see how scientific tools like T data measures can help us go beyond surface level observation and truly understand an individual's personality. Thank you, ma'am. Now,
Thank you.
for our next session, I invite Dr. Nadeem Lukman, an associate professor in the Department of Psychology at Chandigarh University. Sir will be discussing about research in psychology. As we know that research is the backbone of psychology, it shapes new theories and practical applications. So let's learn more about its significance from Dr. Nadeem Lukman. Sir, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Rita ma'am. And thanks to Speakingcube, and a special thanks to Dr. Deepika for inviting me to speak on this forum. And it is very good and excellent that we have two things. Today is a festive day also, and it's holiday, so we have ample time to discuss the things, right? So I'll not be using any presentation, but I want every student, especially master's students and PhD students, to be part of this discussion, right? So we are talking about the aspects of research into psychology. Obviously, psychology and research and all these things are very important aspects when we talk about academics, right? My discussion will especially emphasize to all the scholars and master's students, and I would prefer to talk to you people about the latest trends into the psychological research. When we used to study, things were very different. People used to say, our professors used to say, if you are not going to stick to your area, you will not be able to survive in the market, you will not be able to do the things. But now things had changed a lot, and especially if we talk about 2019 post COVID era, things had changed a lot in terms of both research and integration of the things. So nowadays your subject and technology is integration. This is what you need to understand, right? And especially those who are pursuing masters and PhDs, right? So if we talk about 20, 30 years back, 40 years back, when our supervisors were there and then they used to do the research, everything was manual. Nowadays, things had changed. So what is that? What is the integration nowadays? Everyone, please reply into the chat box. What is the integration and why that integration is important nowadays? There's an integration of two things that I'm asking every one of you. And what is the integration of those two things that are needed for you to survive better in the place or in the research world? Everyone, please put on your answers in the chat box. Come on, fast, please. Okay, technology and theory, excellent, very good. What else? Holistic healing methods, research methodology, research tools and techniques, excellent. What else? Okay, so all three, technology and theory, Ishita, well said. So how we integrate technology and theory, it is nowadays, it is very, very important. We all know the things theoretically. We know that now we have various softwares that are there. The coming time, when we talk about coming next 10-15 years, we need to expertise into a lot of softwares, especially. And why I'm telling you this, the reason is, I have applied to, through AI tools, excellent. I have applied to TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, so they said, okay, everything is there in your CV, but you lack in Java, you lack in programming. So this discussion, more than on a presentation, it's based on my learning experiences that I had, right? So these are the latest trends of research that are coming, gradually coming into the field of psychology. Right? So theory, I know, every one of us know theory, and we all are, experienced people here. But it is very, very important, that especially post-COVID era, things had changed a lot. The online culture, this is the starting of new era, actually. Things had changed, everything had changed. The concept of teletherapy, the concept of mental health boards floated in, right? So you have to, as a students, as the scholars, as of what you are doing now, you need to integrate your knowledge with what we call as the technological aspect also. So it is a technological era, right? So that the concepts that gradually creeped in, if we talk about the integration of technology and research and psychology, is the teletherapy and online counseling. So the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the use of teletherapy, making mental health services more accessible. Virtual platforms now enable clients to connect with therapists remotely, breaking down geographical barriers. Right. So if supposedly if we talk about our conference that is being organized by Speakingcube, so what is this? This is an innovation. This is an innovation, right? So when we talk about different areas of research and domains into the subject specific, it is one thing that is very important for you to understand is you have to pick a skill that should match, a technological skill that should match to your CV or to your subject, actually. Right? I see on a lot of occasions, since my area of expertise is research methods and stats, and over a period of time, I have learned 6 data analysis softwares, right? So it was my interest, I've learned, and it's my expertise areas. So every one of us. So there'll be 2 verticals into your research domain. First, we'll talk about your subject. Second, we'll talk about your, the technical aspects. So every one of us needs to orient. So you have to see that how the future is coming up. So I had discussion with you about teletherapy and online counseling. Nowadays, a new concept of supposedly you'll find the mobile health apps and wearables like bands. There are bands and there are a lot of, the devices, biofeedback devices that gets connected to your mobile phone and all, and they keep on giving you the feedback, right? Okay, so the concept had changed almost over a decade back. I remember when I used to do the research, there was there were not much to, in terms of internet, the things were not very good. So we used to go to ICSSR library or the central library of the university to hunt for review of literature. But now on the move, you have the things like this, right? So, era had changed, things had changed, and your mobile devices are almost like computers, right? So mobile health apps and wearables These tools offer practical way to, monitor and improve mental health, encouraging cognitive improvement, building behavioral skills, and providing social support also. Right? So although the concept of discussion is the research, but we use all these things nowadays to collect the data and information. So we need to orient our skills as a part of technological aspect that surrounds these areas, So every one of us, those who are present here, especially my emphasis is for master's students and PhD scholars, that if you think that post completion of PhD or post completion of masters, you will start learning the things. No, start the things doing from now. Because to learn the things, to implement the things, it will take time. And we say that, okay, if we'll do this course, if we'll do that course, we'll become expert. No one becomes expert in anything. We all learn the things with a period of time. So the only difference that lies between us is in terms of experiences, right? Now, the advent of artificial intelligence in therapy. So AI-powered mental health chatbots, and therapeutic devices are being developed to support traditional therapy methods, offering innovative tools for literature review, hypothesis generation and data analysis in psychological research, right? So there are a lot of devices that you connect to the computer that gathers the data from the brain waves, and then you use them in the purpose of the research, or you put for the automatic analysis, of the data. So unless and until we are not clear with the concepts for the integration of the theoretical aspect and technological aspect, we won't be able to find the merger part or the final conclusion part of the things, right? Now, when we talk about psychology, as Dr. Nidhi had said about the tool measurements and all, you'll find that when we are talking in terms of research and involvement of technology into research, we know that everything nowadays is coming into the, in the computerized form, in the automation form. You remember that earlier we used to gather the data by getting the questionnaires Xerox from person to person. Now, usually what we do, the technology we use is SurveyMonkey we use Google Forms to create the questionnaires and all, right? Then we have, a lot of other things like emphasis on holistic approaches. So mindful practices, integrating mindfulness into therapy sessions helps clients focus on the present moment, reducing stress and enhancing overall well-being. Okay, this is a concept actually, right? And we integrate it with the concept of research when we are using the technological aspects into this of the research domain. Again, so the involvement of three different aspects of the concept of mindfulness is involved, then the concept of research is involved, then concept of technology is involved, that how we use these technologies and the processes, right? So in when we are talking in context of the research in psychology, you'll find that with these verticals, that the new areas into research are coming or evolving. Supposedly, if you remember, Delhi University started a program of BTech psychology. Now it is not too much into existence, no more into existence into Delhi University. They closed it off because we have a specific thought process that, okay, either become engineer or doctor, or you do the psychology, you do the PhD or become clinical psychologist. So, the BTech psychology, the concept of BTech psychology, the human factor engineering, the ergonomics, the criminal psychology, the forensic psychology, various other fields of psychology. So what I mean to say with is that, this is all the integration at a single point. And what you have to understand is, you should know when you plan to do the research into psychology or any discipline or any of the domains, it is very, very important that, you should be well versed with few things, that how should I can use the technology, how can I interpret the theoretical parts in terms of technology, how can I draw a data should be driven using technology in such a way that I should get something beneficial, or how should I work smartly. It's a time to do the smart work. It's a time to do the intelligent work. And how can you become intelligent? Every one of us nowadays is using, someone said to me, oh, we shouldn't use the chat GPT, or we shouldn't use this. We should use all these things. You are born, the new peoples are in such a born in such a time that you have the benefit of technology, right? And I had learned at my age, at 45 years of age, I had learned the 5 data analysis softwares, including R and Python also. When I had interview in Chandigarh University, so they said, okay, the vice chancellor said, I'm surprised to see that so many softwares being from the field of psychology, right? So why we should give this kind of thought process, let other people think that we as a psychologist can't learn all these things. So research nowadays is not a single factor, it's an integration of a lot of things, and you as a scholar and the master's students have to learn this, that my domain, psychology, how much I know the technology, how much I know how to integrate these things, right? So domains are a lot, but you have to bring these things together to make a good a good sandwich, so it can yield good taste to you, right? So discussion about tele conferences, tele counseling, psychotherapy, all these things, mobile apps, all these things, so it's not a thing that okay, we have gathered the data, we have done this. No, it is not that. It is up to that how you will use that data, how you will employ that data in your research. But always remember, when you use technology, there always be one factor of human domain that will always be the part of that human domain. It will always be there to keep the check, because you can't trust the technology blindly. So I advocate that technology to be used in terms of research, right? But on the other hand, I say, if you are using technology, don't make yourself too much dependent on technology. Reason being, because your psyche, your thought process, your will become weak in terms of learning. So keep your learning strong always, theoretical part, because sometimes your technology is not workable. Sometimes the conditions are so that you are in a situation that you are not able to use the technology, right? So nowadays the era is, when you talk about research, you have to orient skills. Skill sets are very, very important. So to every master's students, to every PhD scholar, and everyone present, every one of us present here, is that you should use technology. I tried new softwares. I have done data analysis using ChatGPT. So I've explored all the things like these. You should use, but you should know how to use it wisely. It is a boon, right? So research is very integral part, but how you will employ that research, how you will use that research with that technology, is again a part of research. There is something in between both of them, to which you have to integrate to find something new, right? Okay, any questions? Now, I would like everyone to ask questions, please. I do not want to keep on speaking. I want every one of you to be part of discussion, especially students, please. Please put your questions. Okay, Ria had asked, sir, what software according to you are most important, especially in psychological today? Ria, there are a lot of softwares, right? I just want to know what kind of softwares you are asking in terms of data analysis, or you are asking me for AI-based softwares.
Sir, AI based specifically just to hone my skills, because SPSS is something which is very common, and Jamovi is something which is very common. So apart from that, which helps in the resume as well.
So, Abhi, I'll show you something on the screen. I'll share something with you. Sunlo. There's one more software that is open source that is known as Ria Orange. Orange. Take it.
All right.
Orange. Okay. So it's a open source, but it's very interesting software. You know, I'll show you, because the best part that I like about it. I'll show you this. Okay, so use Orange. Okay, use you can use Metcalc. Metcalc is available online. Apart from this, one thing, when you use software, supposedly because I do freelance work also, I get a lot of work from different domains, not from psychology. The best part in this is that supposedly if I get thesis from medical sciences, so I use Metcalc, right? So you should know that, okay, if I have this kind of data, which software will yield good results and good tables, right? So it is not like that. Okay, if someone went to doctor as a patient, doctor will give antibiotic to everyone. No, it is not like that, right? So you have to see the characteristic of data. Apart from that, the AI that you use is Julius AI and ChatGPT also for calculation purposes to test the results. I have personally tested the results with sample that I prepared to test the t-test values and everything. The best part with the differences in this software is, in SPSS you specify that you need independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, but when we talk about the R especially, we need not to specify. It automatically sends the characteristic of data, then apply the t-test, right? Okay, apart from this, you can try to use Orange. Orange is open source and free of cost. There is no trial version or something. It's a full software you can use, right? I'll show you here how to use that software. It's a small software, but very interesting. So, integration of these things, this is what I want you to learn and comprehend these things. You should know, when I'm doing research, and especially in context of human beings, when you are doing research, it is very crucial and very important. Samuel, Julius is not absolutely free of cost. There is a student subscription of it you can use. The best part with Julius is that it gives, you'll put the data, you ask it to give the analysis, you ask to give it to data presentation charts. It will prepare everything as compared to ChatGPT, right? But apart from that, even to use AI, you should know that how to give the commands, right? So if you will give the proper crisp command, it will follow you. It will give you everything. But if you will not give the crisp command, you will not be able to, get the sustainable and very good results, right? So this is what I want to actually tell you, that people's fear with the technology, that it is not a cup of my tea and all. No, it is not like this. It is not like this. I am at the age of 43. I've learned 6 softwares, data analysis softwares. It was my interest. Apart from that, I have a lot of freelance work that comes from different subjects, right? So one thing is there. In research, there is only one thing, and even to use technology, the concept of logic. If your logic is strong, no one can defeat you in your research work. if your basics are clear, and learn the basics with logic. Right? Okay. Krishna, your question is, what resource did you use to learn R and Python? See, the best option is, I'll share my mail ID with you peoples, because to related R, I have commands and Python that I'll share with you, and you can start using. But with R is case sensitive software. Case means, okay, if you type command in uppercase, it won't accept, it will give syntax error. Right? So there are a lot of technical things into it, and in R you have to specify, you have to download the libraries and all. First you need to install R Studio, and then you need to install the libraries into the R. So it doesn't work directly actually. If you'll put the commands directly, it will give the syntax error. Right? So first, R Studio is free, you need to install. Even R is free, Python is also free. So, but before you use R and Python, you need to install, grade them with a, you know, with a certain set of libraries actually, the programs actually, which they support to run that particular statistical techniques actually. Right? So there are a lot of things. Every software is the best part that I like with the R as compared to t-test, that R you need not to tell anything, that specify, that apply independent sample t-test, apply paired sample t-test, apply one sample t-test. Once you put the data, it automatically sends the data and put the command. Right? So if I'll put t.test for the particular variables, it will automatically sense, okay, if the data is equal, it's okay. If the data is unequal, two different sets are there, it will apply independent sample t-test. Right? It will apply one sample t-test. It will apply paired sample t-test. So every software is having its own technical criticalities. R is bit critical and bit, you know, difficult to handle as compared to SPSS. So even in single step, you create error, your complete analysis is gone into bucket. Right? Okay, sir, what will you suggest for data analysis? Okay, so for data analysis, Latisha, you can use SPSS. If you are first time a startup, the best part is that you should use SPSS. You can go to Flipkart and Amazon, you can buy a basic book on SPSS. You will get in 2.5, 300 rupees, 250 or 300 rupees, right? So basics, for basics, SPSS is good, where you can start from, where you can learn. The first thing is that how to input the data. Okay, and the best thing is then you should learn how to do coding. Actually, in SPSS, coding is very, very important. Now, without coding, you won't be able to run any analysis, right? But again, I'll say one thing: while you are using technology, be cautious with the data, because data is very volatile substance, very dangerous substance. It is, you know, because I get a lot of, and I have learned the things when I started doing the work as a freelancer. So there was a lot of work that used to come from medical science, sometimes the PhD from law, sometimes the PhD from management. And the only difference between psychology and these subjects is only one thing: if your logic and concept is clear, you will be able to do any work. Right? Okay, I'm sharing my mail ID with you peoples, and if query is there, and I'll be sharing my phone number also, right? So you can contact me anytime. So any help and suggestions and something related to softwares, if you want to, please feel free to write to me. Right? Okay, any questions, please?
If anyone have like any question, please write down your question in the chat box. All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your knowledge with us. Your session made the importance of research in psychology even more engaging and relatable. And I hope अब किसी को research से इतना डर नहीं लग रहा होगा.
No, it's an interesting thing, but the problem is that only with the basic concepts, actually,
Yes.
we all have, every one of us. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now we move on to the last session of our first half before the vote of thanks and lunch break, the Q&A session. So great conferences are not just about the presentation, they are also about the discussions and the questions that spark new ideas and perspectives. To guide us through this, we have Dr. Deepika Chamoli Shahi, a psychologist, hypnotherapist, and the founder and director of our Speakingcube. She is also an adjunct faculty at the Southern New Hampshire University and St. Leo University, USA. This session will only last 10 minutes. So I would like to request participants to keep their questions quick, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sneha. Thank you for handing over the forum. But before that, Dr. Nadeem, what a wonderful session. And especially, it is a need of an hour. And I always say that there is no need of running away from technology. And AI, rather use AI as your assistant.
मैं एक बात कहता हूँ, आप कभी कभी ना किसी चीज से बहुत दूर भागते हैं। मैं 10th में मैथ्स में फेल हुआ था, मेरी मैथ्स नहीं चलती थी मुझसे, कभी नहीं चली, मगर वो स्टैट्स मेरे ऐसे पीछे पड़ी कि उसने पीछा नहीं छोड़ा। मगर I started liking statistics a lot. अब and I'm so much surprised how and when, but obviously हम ये नहीं जानते, no one of us knows कि what is good for us, कुछ अच्छा रखा हो। तो keep on doing hard work बच्चों, आप मेहनत करोगे तो you will always succeed. Thank you, Dr. Deepika, and it was really wonderful, especially आज के दिन छुट्टी, और it's wonderful to talk and speak to students especially. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nadeem, and Eid
you so much,
Mubarak.
sir.
Although I have wished you in the morning, but Eid Mubarak to everybody. And
Thank you.
Same to you.
let's start the question answer session quick. And Sneha has already instructed me that I have to keep it for only 10 minutes, because now you people also need to rush to for scientific session as well as the valedictory session. Please go ahead if you have any questions. Anything regarding psychology, regarding academics, in your day-to-day life, etc., etc. Anything which you can ask on this platform. Please go ahead.
I had a question in mind. Since we were talking about Ms. Shikha Chamoli, she said increase the screen time. It is affecting the mental health negatively. So what about we are going digital now and everything is online? Like this conference is also online and we are sticking to the screen in the morning. So how we are going to balance all these things?
It's a very good question. And I have given a thought to this question n number of times. So what is your opinion, all of you? It's bad? Everything has got pros and cons. Everything has got pros and cons. If we are away from the society, then we will develop something. We will develop something like loneliness, social isolation. If we are too much into the laptop, we will tend to develop alexithymia, right? We will be developing FOMO. Yes, right? So everything has got pros and cons, but at the end of the day, our motto is to balance. So if I'm spending 6 hours on the screen every day with my clients, 2 hours in the evening with my students, 8 hours, I have the right to choose rest of the 6 hours or rest of the 4 hours, remaining 4 hours to socialize, to be with my family, to chit chat. And most important, this is a tip, most important, just meditate for 5 minutes. You cannot get away from technology. It is increasing day by day because we are misusing it day by day. Now, misusing in terms of social media. Social media, you can use it for business. You can be a good influencer, but only if you have expertise in your field. But if you will go and Google search, who are the best psychologists on social media? They are the one who are not holding any degree in psychology. 90% of them. They are motivational speakers and they talk about PTSD. They are actors. They talk about depression. They're writing books on depression, therapeutic books, right? So this is the information which you are consuming on Instagram. Now, if you talk about how much time we are spending on social media, the first platform is Instagram, right? And what is the psychology behind? We are only interested in 30 seconds. We are not interested in big videos, long videos, not interested in. So the kind of consumption, the information we are consuming, we have to be mindful about. I know that my whole organization is online because I want to connect to different countries. I cannot do it sitting at one place, be it in Chandigarh or Dehradun. I can do it only virtually. I can get the information only virtually. I'm teaching in US sitting here in India, right? This is the best part. This is called across the culture, across the continents, and we get to learn so much about it. It is only happening because of technology, right? But at the end of the day, I need to spend time for myself. I need to work on myself and I need to embrace myself by being with me and by being with my family members and friends. So I think I have answered your question. Balance is the key. Try to balance it. Work-life balance, professional, personal life balance. Likewise, screen time and no screen time. So I hope that I have answered your question. It is up to us.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Use, do not abuse. So this can be the slogan for social media. Use it, do not abuse it. Any other question?
I want to share one thing. आपके इस बात पे एक because we I think belong to the 40s and 80s generation, especially 80s. So we have seen and remember that time जो अभी आप बात कह रही थी कि टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज हम लोगों के टाइम में वो कम थी, मगर उसका इम्पैक्ट जैसे जैसे आता गया, सोशल आइसोलेशन हैड इंक्रीज्ड टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल एक्चुअली. मुझे याद है एक दूरदर्शन होता था, घर में एक टीवी हुआ करता था, एक आदमी छत पे जाके एंटीना घुमाता था, एक बीच में खड़ा होता था, एक टीवी के पास खड़ा होता था. वो टाइम आज तक हम लोगों को याद है. क्यों याद है? एक कुछ तो है. हम लोगों को आज से 1 साल पहले देखी हुई नेटफ्लिक्स पे मूवी नहीं याद है ना. सो अब this is what you have said. It's very right ke should not abuse actually.
And we have to be cautious about the information overload that we are doing, unnecessary information overload.
Actually, technology is abusing us now.
We are abusing technology.
Yes, both. It's happening both ways actually. The social isolation is created. वो टेक्नोलॉजी कर रही है कि एक घर में 4 लोग हैं, चारों अपने अपने कमरे में घुस गए और उनके पास they log on to OTT actually.
But change comes from within.
Yes, agreed.
If we have decided, if we have determined, we can do it.
Right, exactly.
Because we have created technology, nobody else.
Right,
Use
exactly.
it mindfully.
Yes.
Any other question, anybody? Thank you, Dr. Nadeem, for your input.
Okay, madam.
Ishita, please go ahead. Do not raise your hand, just unmute and ask.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, it is part a question and partly an observation that I have made recently. As in counseling and clinical and many other fields, industrial, forensic, we have so many fields in psychology. But somewhere, whenever I open LinkedIn, whenever I open any application, I come across so many posts that will talk about how clinical psychology is the most superior field in the field of psychology, and how so much work that so many people are doing in so many other areas of psychology are sometimes not looked up as much. So as a student who is I am currently pursuing clinical, but I still don't
like to open Instagram or LinkedIn and see how we are not able to work as a collaborative setup, which psychology ideally should be working together as a holistic approach rather than pulling anybody down or making them feel less. So what would be your say on this? If I'm a student who is currently, in fact, extremely confused if I should continue pursuing in clinical, or is counseling also good enough if I want to train myself as a therapist, what would be your suggestion to me, somebody who's a young student?
Okay. I'm neither a clinical psychologist, nor a cognitive psychologist, nor a counseling psychologist. I'm a cognitive psychologist, and I work with brain and then the meta emotions, right? So this is the first solution to the issue, the present issue. You are a psychologist first. You are trained in conditioning brain as well as your mind. You know how mind works. You know the physiology and anatomy of mind. A doctor is a doctor. A psychologist is a psychologist. But a diabetologist will understand about cardiology, and a cardiology will understand about diabetology, right? But they have super specializations. Are you getting my point now? So you will remain a psychologist. Okay, you will remain a psychologist. But if you say that clinical psychologists are superior, or cognitive psychologists are superior, or counseling psychologists are superior, this is again something known as myth. A lot of myth and facts I see on Instagram and YouTube as well. Myth and facts. So this is a myth. Myth that we have created. The moment we will stop believing it, it will stop affecting it. Now, on this note, I think I should share. There is something known as RCI registration and NAHCP registration. Okay. Just to establish the homogeneity at the level of status of all the psychologists, Indian government has established a portal called NAHCP, right? So those who are not clinical psychologists or counseling psychologists, they are neuropsychologists or like me, cognitive psychologists, they have to be registered from there. You get the license from there. Okay?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Just be mindful, the one who is doing organizational, industry, or social psychology, or you're specializing in cognitive psychology, or there's something known as computational psychology, which has also come up, right? If you have expertise in such fields, you have to register in NAHCP, right?
Yes.
National Council of Allied Health Professionals. Am I clear?
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was actually very affirming as a student, in fact. And plus, I got to know where I can also look in for a licensure or registration.
Good. Any other question, anyone? Go ahead. Please, Miss Anupama, please go ahead. Miss Anupama, you have raised a question. You have raised your hand for a question.
Yes. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible now.
Okay. Ma'am, actually, I do not have any question. I have a message for Dr. Sharanya.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
Can you convey this? Just like I forgot at that time, and she was, explaining that, and we were all engrossed in that. She said she was talking about dignity therapy, and for about legacy document. So she was saying
Right.
we have just tried this thing in Tamil Nadu only, and gradually we will just try in some other state also. So my message to her that if she can start in northern India also, because I think it's important, equally important to every patient who is suffering from cancer. So this was
We
my
have
message.
already worked on it, and
Okay.
in Speakingcube, we will work in collaboration.
Okay.
And this has already been decided. So don't worry. First, it will come to the north. Now it has to come to north, starting
Yes.
from Uttarakhand.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, there is one question. Can you please share about RCI and NAHCP, National Council of Allied Health Professionals? There are different fields of psychology. Till 2009, whosoever has done even masters in masters in psychology, because there was no clinical psychology, masters in psychology, even if it was distance learning, they were given the RCI license. It was a rule. Okay. Now, after 2009, this rule was changed, obviously, because we as a psychologist have grew up. There were very less a number of psychologists at that point in time, and rarely people used to do PhD. So anyone with masters in psychology, so if you'll go to government institutions, even RCI, there are many institutions and centers where you will see very senior people who are not PhDs, but they are clinical psychologists. This was the reason, right? But now, in past 15 years, psychology has grown a lot, and post-COVID, it has grown a lot. It has grown a lot to a massive scale, right? The horizon of psychology has also increased, not only globally but also in India, right? Which is why different super specialized fields of psychologies have come up. Okay. Now, after every 5 years, we are able to see the change in the guidelines and rules. So earlier it was Rehabilitation Council of India, and they were giving the license for rehabilitation psychologist, counseling psychologist, and clinical psychologist. And then all the other field of psychologists, they started saying that we are also doing PhD in new fields, in super specialized fields. So what should be done with us? We are not getting license. Although Government of India is saying you can open your center, you can open your hospital, you can open your clinic, you can work anywhere, but we are not getting licensed. Which is why Government of India has taken an initiative in 2015. It was passed in 2017, the Mental Health Act. Read about this, because you need to know when you can practice, what is the minimum qualification. It is Mental Health Act 2017. It was passed in 2017, and then the body was established. That body was NAHCP. And now we have the portal of NAHCP, which has come up in 2024, sorry, last year. Am I clear? So now no one will be left without license. Any other doubt, anybody? Any other question? So just be updated. And what is the minimum qualification? Masters in psychology. Any other question, anybody? Any doubt? Because this is going to be the last talk, last question answer session. And then we will move towards valedictory at 3 p.m. And in between there is a scientific session. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I'm sure that I'm not wasting anybody's time here, because we are very soon we are having that lunch time. Ma'am, a small question. As our institute is having MOU with your reputed organization, so after as we have given two courses to one is diploma and one is certificate. So after completing that course, what would be the students scope, matlab where they can be
Very
applied for
good.
their jobs, or
Very good question,
or
Anupama ji.
or being IT student, or I can say I'm a learner, I consider myself lifelong learner. So suppose if I join that, so what would be my scope? So I can initially ask like this.
Correct. So we have two courses, as I have already discussed it during the introduction. Perinatal Mental Health Certificate Practitioner course,
Yes.
which very few organizations are providing this course to the budding psychologists, psychiatrists, doctors, nurses, and social workers. And this course is pertaining to the perinatal emotional wellness, how we can deal with the emotional wellness and mental well-being of a pregnant lady and post-pregnancy. That means a new mother and also the father. So this is a 45 hours online course, and we have collaborated with B.S. Negi College under Sridev Suman University, and they have their vertical of AICTE certificates and diplomas. And now this course is AICTE, affiliated by AICTE, right? So this is the first one. Second one is trauma and grief management, diploma in trauma and grief management, which is a 60 hours course, and it is done in 3 levels. Now this course deals with all the different types of traumas that we see. So most of the times the client come to us, the client is a case of grief, but we label him as depression, as a case of depression, as a case of something, right? Anxiety or panic. But probably the client is grieving, he's in the process of grief, or he is in prolonged grief, or he is in anticipated grief. There are different types of grief and traumas. So this diploma in trauma and grief management is again a practitioner certification for psychologists only.
Okay.
For the first perinatal one, WHO guideline says perinatal, anybody can be a perinatal therapist if he is a psychologist, doctor, gynecologist, psychiatrist, social worker, and nurse. These are the 5 dimensions, or you can say the disciplines, who can be the perinatal mental health therapist as per WHO 2022 September guidelines. Okay, but as far as the trauma and grief management course is concerned, it is only for psychologists. Now, what is the basic qualification? The basic qualification is graduation. You need to be a graduate. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And both the courses are AICTE affiliated.
Ma'am, just one last question. You are talking about diploma of 60 hours. This is also an online course, right?
Diploma in trauma?
Yes, ma'am. Trauma and grief management.
Yes. Both are
So,
online.
okay. So now, since I am a master's in psychology, but my PhD is in education, but we do have students to counsel in our higher education who come with some trauma or some grief, and in our own everyday life, sometimes we even go through, like I shared yesterday. So, do you think it will be beneficial for me to do?
You are a master's in psychology.
Right,
So
ma'am.
as per the guidelines, Indian guidelines, you are already a psychologist,
Right,
right?
ma'am.
And if you
Right.
license yourself, you can get the practicing you can practice with the license, right?
Okay.
So basic qualification, you have already completed the basic qualification. You can go ahead with any of the 2 courses.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other question, anybody? Any other
So,
question?
ma'am, hello, this is Krista.
Yes, Krista.
So I just wanted to ask the courses that you just talked about. So I'm just in my undergrad, and do you think I should apply for this? And even if I apply, how and what could happen after completing the course?
Apply for?
The courses that you just mentioned, perinatal and trauma and grief.
You are in your PG or you are doing your undergrad?
Undergrad.
So once you complete your undergrad, this is what I suggest. If you are in the last semester of your graduation, you can go ahead, because of course it is spread over 4 to 5 months. Okay, so you can complete. But if you are in your last semester.
Thank you.
Any other doubt, any other question? No questions? So over to you, Sneha.
Yes, ma'am. If anyone has any question, I have put the link in the chat box. You can connect to our main group of Speakingcube.
And this is the group where we keep on updating the events and workshops and seminars, and about there is a free webinar that we conduct every month. So all of you can join, right? So please join this group so that we can be in touch.
Yes, now as we have come to the end of this insightful and enriching conference, it is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, a heartfelt thank you to our esteemed speakers who have shared their valuable insights and expertise with us. A special thank you to Mrs. Shikha Chamoli Sinha for shedding light on the impact of social media on mental health, making us more mindful of our digital habits. Next, Dr. Saranya Sundarraju for introducing us to the dignity therapy and emphasizing the importance of emotional well-being for cancer patients. Major Anupa Carey for highlighting the need for therapeutic approaches in perinatal counseling, ensuring better mental health support for mothers. Dr. Nidhi Verma for providing an in-depth understanding of how personality traits influence mental health issues and shaping our perspectives. Dr. Nadeem Lukman for his enlightening session on the role of research in the psychology, reminding us how research lays the foundation for progress in our field. And Dr. Deepika Chamoli Shahi for leading an engaging Q&A session, ensuring that our discussion remained interactive and insightful. And a big thank you to our audience and participants. Your engagement has made this event a true success. And behind every successful event is a team that works tirelessly behind the scenes. So a big round of applause for the organizing team. And with that, we wrap up our first half of our conference. Now it's time for a well-deserved lunch break.